honestly. Because that's been stressing me out for the last 3 years of my life. Why don't I never Google it?
All right, I'll read it to you.
I want to see a picture of what it looks like.
So, synopsis. Teen Angels follows a high school boy, Steve Beauchamp, and his recently deceased best friend, Marty DePolo, who dies from eating a 6-month-old hamburger from under Steve's bed on a dare and is sent back to Earth as Steve's guardian angel.
I remember this.
Yeah, it was really good. Show me the picture.
97.
I totally remember this.
Picture. Yeah, I loved Teen Angels.
It was really good.
It was really good.
And the fact that we remember it this many years on.
Yes, I
yeah,
remember that.
That's it.
What about
Very good.
Teen Angel.
Boy Meets World? Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
Oh my
loved
God,
it. Loved
yeah.
it.
Topanga?
Yeah, I'm all over it. My favourite is still Saved by the Bell. That's one of the best programs I've ever seen in my life.
So Screech, you know about him?
Yeah,
don't you?
he's done
Dirty Sanchez?
Well, not the Dirty Sanchez I'm on about, surely. Wait, in the one that... I also love
He
the
is
one that...
nasty.
He's done some things. Dustin Diamond.
Yes.
Dustin.
He went into porn, didn't he?
It's a great name, Dustin.
Went into porn. I think he did one porn film. Didn't he do was it like Dustin Goes to Paris or whatever it is? Didn't he do like one of those?
Oh, we all don't. I wouldn't Google that now. Your search history is going to look hella suspect, big man.
That's fine.
I bet his search engine's hella suspect.
It is
100%.
already.
You know that the YouTuber Vitaly?
Vitali.
Do you remember him as like a prankster YouTuber from like 8 years ago? He did a porn video once. Went viral.
No, we've all done things to make money, you know.
I remember that because he got mocked.
Screeched.
That is the worst thing I've seen in my life.
Screech, Saved by the Bell porn.
I don't want to play this game anymore. I want to go home. I want my
Dustin
mummy.
Dirty Sanchez Diamond.
I've got a lot of paper in front of me.
Screeched.
Can someone explain to me on Instagram in the fitness world at the moment why all the top fitness pros have to do funny skits now on their content?
Oh, I think it's because they're trying to like appeal to the TikTok audience.
I also have an answer to this. They probably run out of ideas.
That is actually very true because fitness is wildly boring. No one's reinventing the wheel. They've got to do something that's
Everyone's doing like funny little videos.
Do you know what's really funny? I bet I want to comment on the thing just saying you're not funny because they aren't.
We should start a campaign.
Or just like the anti-funny team.
You know what I think it is? It's where their knowledge isn't that deep. So once they've said the 3 things that they know, it's like, what do I do now? Anyway, time to juggle.
Yeah,
too bad. If you can juggle, that's impressive.
That
Can you juggle?
No, I can't.
Chris?
Can you juggle?
No.
Oh.
A little bit.
That's something I thought you'd better do.
I thought you'd be able to do it.
You look like the kind of guy that's just, I just juggle one summer.
I can do it for like 3 or 4 throws and then it just sort of loses coordination.
It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I can juggle with 1 ball. It's good enough.
Good.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
No, one day I'm going to punch you in the head.
I'm not going
I'm going to pour some fizzy water. Again.
Apparently the podcast's doing quite well, guys.
How many downloads?
I think we're up to about nearly 2,500.
That's not bad.
Why?
Imagine, do you know what's crazy? Imagine, I was about to say 2,500 people listening to us, but I guarantee I'm about 2,000 of those downloads.
Oh, definitely. I see you playing on your phone right now.
I'll leave on repeat.
Yeah.
That first episode's been downloaded 600 times.
I'm really sorry
Dangerous.
for wasting your time.
I can't wait to listen back to that in about a year.
It would sound awful, yeah.
It's going to
Still do.
so bad.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, actually, I accidentally played this podcast to people fitting tyres on my car the other day.
How do you accidentally... Hey, listen to this. Oh, whoops. Sorry.
No, because they take your keys off you and then drive it into the garage and then automatically it connects to my phone via Bluetooth, which is still in my pocket.
That could have been really suspect if you...
Well, some of your random... crap coming out of your mouth would be suspect.
Yeah, but you only listened to it about 3 seconds before you realised, surely.
Well, I obviously didn't know it was playing.
Oh.
Did you ask what they thought of it?
I should have got some feedback.
Excuse me, can you just click on this link?
I just realised you've been listening to us chatting for, any feedback?
Tune into the next episode coming on the 21st.
Yeah, do you think you learned anything this episode?
What do you think of the unstructured structure? Oh, you like it? Oh, that's what Noah said. He likes the unstructured structure. He said, it is Finn's
paradox.
I was like, yeah, literally, I love it. I said we're just really funny guys.
Chemistry.
Mad funny. Did anyone watch the Super Bowl at the weekend?
No.
Okay, good. We can move on from that.
I'm not very good at watching cardio. Yeah, sorry, Tom. He'll cry about that.
And is anyone prepared for the incoming storm?
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Here he comes.
I love it. Honestly, if I could, I want to be a storm chaser so badly. Honestly, I'd buy the car.
You ever seen Twister, the film?
If it's a film, it's a bit crap. Have you not seen the documentaries where they go sit in a storm?
That's what they do in the film Twister, which is clearly a documentary.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Obviously.
It's not the same. It's crap.
97 CGI standard.
I want it, honestly, give me a tornado. I'm all over it.
Why?
Because how exciting.
We have had them here.
Yeah, but I mean one that's going to send me off to the abyss.
Oh,
Do you know what I
right.
mean?
They're normally over like Norfolk, and they overturn a shed or something, and it's like
Yeah.
makes the news.
A fence gets pushed down. Tornado nearly took out 15
And it's like
houses.
it's like a woman sitting next to a fence was knocked over. Wants to sue Tornado.
Yeah, I'm suing Mother Nature. Yeah, my lawyers will be in contact. But yeah, honestly, I love a good old tornado. I just love a storm.
But
Lightning, thunder, tornadoes. The idea of it, the best thing in the world.
I think lightning and thunder most people can enjoy, but I think when it comes to the point where it's ripping like roof tiles off, and
As long as no one fucks my shit up, I'm
Yeah, but you
okay.
can't-
But I like the idea of knowing it could happen. I like the anxiety. I like living life on the edge. I'm already anxious enough as it is. Let's just push it further.
Speaking of lightning, I think it was last week or the week before, there was like the longest recorded lightning strike. It was something like 30 miles. It went across, or like went over like a whole state of America or something. One like fork of lightning. Mother Nature's striking back.
I wonder how much power that is outputting. Will that run my
Probably, I
PC?
was going to say, could probably power your channel.
Could it power my PC? Chris hates us. He actually hates us.
it's pretty random, to be fair. I make little notes, funny enough, about random topics for us just to preamble with, and I've written one word, which is just simply cameo, and I don't know why I wrote that word.
The website where people pay to... Yeah.
I think it is, but
The
why
what?
is it?
You know what Cameo is?
No. Fill me in.
Oh my god, you've not heard of Cameo?
No, I live
Honestly,
under a rock. To
it's
be fair.
basically... Well, you... Go.
It's
No,
pretty.
go on.
So Cameo, basically, when you're famous and you just want to make money on the side,
Or you're declining.
or you're on the way down, you sign up, and then people will pay you to do little recorded messages.
That sounds bleak.
We'll be there soon.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
but you could. I was maybe I've written it down because I was thinking we could get like guests. We could pay famous potential people.
Oh my god,
Do you-
do shout outs for us.
Not
Do you
even
know-
that. We could get them to answer questions that whatever we want to ask them.
Do you know-
Get them
some-
answer fitness questions.
Some of them a little bit dollar. Like Caitlyn Jenner charges $2,500 for a Cameo video of like 10 seconds.
I'm not interested in that though. There must be better people we can get.
But
Who's
if we
your-
could get Caitlyn Jenner to be like, you're listening to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, but they only send the video to us, so only we hear it.
No,
And
but then we could use it as a clip, and they could be.
Yeah,
That's
but-
obviously that person. Someone
but-
with a distinctive voice.
Yeah, but no one's going to care enough to be like, oh, Caitlyn Jenner on a
I can-
podcast I'm never going to find. Let's find it.
I can do the Louis Theroux. I could do my impression of him, and we just have him doing that. I could just do all my impression, like kind of. I
all
could-
your impressions. That
all of
sounds
them, yeah.
like something that we need to definitely hear.
B-Tech. That's B-Tech impressions.
Lee Priest, I can do him, the bodybuilder, the Australian bodybuilder.
I
but-
like Lee Priest.
That's very niche.
Yeah,
He's a good dude.
I met
like-
Lee. He's a nice guy.
Do you see the video of him coming out? It was like when he was competing before he got banned from the IFBB, where he was really upset the fact that the IFBB didn't pay all competitors on stage, only the top 3. So he said, if I get any money, I'm sharing it with all the competitors who aren't getting paid.
That's a big call.
And then he got banned shortly after that. Which I actually, honestly, if Lee Priest, I know you're never watching this, but you seem like a really solid dude.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
Very
he's-
genuine.
Great physique.
Did you do the impression for him? Or did you get the impression after you met him and thought, oh, I can do this?
That's why I went back to Australia.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can stand
Maybe. I just like pulling out the odd impression here and there. I'm quite good at regional accents as well. But these days you can't do that stuff because it's like, I don't know, you have to.
You might get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. You get cancelled for doing impressions
I
now.
don't think you could get cancelled
you-
for doing a regional
Yeah,
accent. As long as you don't say anything.
Does it come in?
offensive.
Does it fall into the realm of like cultural appropriation and stuff?
I just don't know anymore. I'm just too afraid to do anything.
I'm
now.
going to be like, I know we
Yeah,
don't really speak
same.
about cancel. I am actually really anxious about cancel culture, like because everyone cancels you for everything these days, and I'm scared. Like, what if I make a joke and someone?
You
gets
must
upset?
be well scared as a big YouTube guy.
I'm not a big YouTube guy, but I do sweat. Like honestly,
Big sweaty.
it does
YouTube
make
guy.
me really anxious about things
You handle-
because they're like, I could say one thing that's taken out of context, and suddenly, despite all the good things I'm trying to do in my life and trying to like help people with, and just like in general, that one thing that was taken out of context has just defined who I am.
Well, it happens all the time. I was
All the
telling you
time.
in the car, wasn't I, about that Jim Carrey
Yeah.
speech where he, what was it?
The motivational speech about
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I wanted to. I was watching something else and it came up as a suggested video, and it was one of these like motivational videos where they put like the Inception music behind it, and it's all like they put a weird filter over their face. But the guy who made it obviously chopped up the footage, so I went back and watched the raw like actual speech that he did, and it's so much better. But it just goes to show you can chop stuff up and make it
Yeah.
sound completely different.
thing is,
You might be on the internet already chopped up.
I probably am, to be honest. I kind of hope so. I just don't. like, I understand what you're trying to do with cancel culture. I just don't agree with it, because I think if you cancel someone, you essentially eliminate their possibility or their opportunity to change, and you basically enforce saying you did wrong. No, you're going to stay as that person who did wrong. You cannot rectify what you've done and do better. I think
it also takes away from this idea that people can make mistakes and then you can learn from them.
Loads of my old videos were shit. I said some stuff I probably shouldn't have said, but not meaning to be offensive, but it probably would have been deemed offensive. And I was like, well, back then I didn't see it as that.
You didn't know any better.
And obviously, if taken out of context, people are like, oh, I'm not sure that's right. So obviously, I removed the video because I'm like, you know what, fair enough, I understand.
Yeah.
But now what I can do from that is I can learn from it and do better so that doesn't happen again.
Okay, that's quite serious conversation for our pod intro.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
So I'm going to bring it back down to earth by saying, have either of you ever considered taking up the sport of world chase tag?
Have you seen? Wait, is that one where they do the flips and stuff over the park?
Yes.
It's incredible. I watch it on YouTube all the time.
It's basically the playground game, but in like a parkour environment.
It's insane. You see these men and women and all sorts flying across the map. Honestly,
I've seen another one where they must have done it in like Korea or something, because that's kind of what I gathered from when I watched the footage. It's a balloon.
What?
It's keeping the balloon in the air.
Oh yeah, that's a good sport as well.
That's intense.
And it's in this big glass like cube, and there's like as a referee running around, and they've obviously got sponsorship with like a Kia car or something in there as well.
There's so many amazing sports now.
And I was like, wow.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I was never very sporty at school, but if I was presented with the opportunities to do like world chase tag and like whack the balloon up, I reckon I'd be on the world stage by now. I would be so invested in PE.
Yeah, you'd be quite a distinctive athlete, I think, as well.
Honestly,
are you very athletic?
I'm all right.
What about the other incredible sport that I've seen, which is the slapping one?
Oh, well, yeah.
I've seen lots of videos of the slapping.
It blows my mind, because I'm looking like, you got to consider your health there, because some of them are hard hits.
I've seen one of like this little Russian guy like hits this really big Russian guy, and you see the guy's done his slap, and the other guy's obviously not even like been fazed by it, and the whole crowd are like, okay, so that was embarrassing. Now this is going to hurt you a lot. And the look on the guy's face, he's terrified.
Honestly, like I would be too.
The guy's hand is as big as like.
I want to look at him like, who you practicing on?
Tennis racket.
Who you practicing on, big man? Yeah. What's going on? Talk to me.
Slapping watermelons.
Imagine being like, I need a training partner today. Anyone come and get slapped for a couple of hours?
Now it's a watermelon.
Me. Crush a watermelon. Go on then, slap.
Crush a watermelon.
Not between the legs. I know what you're thinking.
That always appears on random talent shows, doesn't it? Look how strong this person is.
Between their thighs, a watermelon.
Normally,
it's impressive. You've seen the one where someone tries to fire a watermelon off a catapult and it swings back and nails him in the face. Oh my god,
that is in one of those like Biggest Loser shows or something.
It's on like Fail Army from like 10 years ago. I love it.
It literally annihilates that woman.
What's occurring with the ambience in this room? The lights over there are not turned off. The lights up there on, and I feel very lit.
We haven't plugged in, so just for reference, because obviously this is audio, we normally plug in some kind of mood lighting. Do you want me to quickly rig that up whilst you chat?
We have fun stuff to talk about.
Can we just turn these lights off? Because I want to live. I don't. Oh, he's gone. He's actually gone to rig the lights.
You know
what
will happen though if you switch the lights off? My concentration levels go right down.
Do they? I was going to think maybe have a little nap together, cuddle up, watch a movie.
That sounds nice.
Oh, that'd be nice. I wish people could see what's happening here.
It's one of those such great noises. He's doing a great job, to be fair.
Honestly, considering this man's age and muscle mass, he's quite agile and quick. He's like,
it's a bit rude.
I can still be offended when I'm not on the microphone.
He said you got muscle mass. How's that offensive?
He can still hear you.
Look, he's like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I did wonder what that blur was that just went past.
After a steady decline.
Have you seen the Sonic films?
The films?
Yeah.
Don't disrespect me again.
Did you hear all the outrage when they made they did the CGI trailer and it looked nothing like him?
They had to redo it,
and they literally had to redo the whole film.
Yeah, honestly, well, I remember seeing that and I was there like, trash. Plus,
but how would you get something so wrong? Do you know what I mean? Like there is.
It's
enough.
awful.
There is enough on the internet of Sonic the Hedgehog to be like, that's what Sonic's face looks like. Let's create something that looks nothing like his face and be like, they won't notice.
Sonic Adventure 2 on Dreamcast. Okay, the final boss was like some giant floating alien thing in space, and the music to that boss fight used to get me so hyped up. I still listen to it today, and I was like 7 years old when that came out. I'm not going to sing it, but it's some like
Dr. Robotnik.
Oh
no,
that's a Sonic boss, right?
Yeah, but it's not the boss.
I thought the boss from Sonic. No. Let's not talk about Sonic.
The boss I'm talking about is Prototype or something. It's like the giant space lizard. I'll show you the song after this. It's incredible.
Cool. Well, we got lights now.
Thanks, Mom.
do we want to start the show? Are we happy? Are we happy that we've done enough? Yeah, done enough nonsense. Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. Yes. Hello, Pod Squad. We are back in the land. See what I did there? Pod Squad.
I like Pod Squad.
Pod Squad. Fit Fam. I could pull that out. It's a bit of a vintage one.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either.
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
No, you can't just say
Kanye West.
Cardio West.
Kanye West.
What about Kanye West?
Do you not see his Instagram recently?
Yeah, I know that he's gone cock a hoop.
Have you seen the one he posted of Kim and the family saying, "Dear Lord, bring our family back together"? And I'm saying, like, I feel for him because he's obviously dealing with some shit at the moment.
It's very public, isn't it?
Man's got some demons.
No,
yeah.
I
think maybe someone should take his Instagram off him for a bit while he's
I think people are messing him up right now.
I think someone's playing with him and it's not fair. I think they're capitalising on his
mental health.
Yeah,
decline.
it kind of makes me sad because I'm so you know what, Cham, you need supportive people. Whoever's fucking with your Instagram, whoever's playing in your corner right now is not really in your corner.
No.
He even did a thing saying I've stopped putting capitals in my captions because it comes across as screamy and aggressive.
I used to have a client that would always email me in capitals, and I just thought he was really aggressive all the time. And he just said to me, "No, I've got bad eyesight, so I leave caps lock on."
I thought he just said I don't know how to turn it off.
I have that sometimes as well. Anyway, welcome back, episode 6. Harry really kind of jumped straight on the intro there. You're back with Christy Fellows. You're back with Harry Moore, and
Hello.
You're back with Michael Carter. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello from
very shy, Michael. Is there a reason for that?
Hi. No, not at all.
Come on.
I'm going to rev into it.
We're gonna pump you full of Jack 3D and see what happens to you on the show.
I'm smelling the
that
microphone.
sounds dangerous, but also fun. You sort of have yours, yeah?
What, my Jack 3D?
Mm-hmm.
Jack? Yeah, of course I do. I'm just smelling the microphone at the moment.
Why are you smelling the microphone?
I don't know. It smells alright actually.
You're a bit hyper today.
Yeah, my hands are really clammy. Knees weak, arms heavy. Mum's spaghetti. It's pretty wild.
Is it because of the storm? You're a bit excited.
Probably, to be honest, because I'm actually buzzing about that. You don't understand. Can't wait. I live in the middle of nowhere as well, so I'm going to have a tree land on my car.
I'm getting a real kind of
one can hope
night before Christmas vibe with you right now.
I know. I don't like horror movies that make me scared and give me nightmares.
Anyway, so on today's show, episode 6, we made it this far, as I always say. We've got a couple of good topics for you. Harry, what have we got on today's show?
We're going to talk about how often you should change your workout and exercise selection and stuff along those lines.
Good.
And then I can't remember what the other ones like. You're the diet one that you're going to...
Yeah, I wanted to talk about some misconceptions over dieting in order to achieve goals, whether they be gaining muscle and weight or losing fat and getting trim and all that business. So
and dieting is reference to eating habits for our goals, we'll say.
Yeah,
rather than fad diets and stuff like that.
Yeah, we could cover fad diets, but we'd be here forever, and they all kind of mean one thing.
I hate them.
Anyway, what else? What have people...
Same.
What have people been up to since the last show? You've had 2 weeks. What have you done?
Do I say it?
Don't you need to say it?
So basically, I starved to death yesterday. I'm livid about that. So, okay, be me. Train a bit later. Train my tattoo artist. Again, pump here at East Park. East Park Gym for everyone to come down and come see us. Anyway, so I'm like, you know what? I get 2 off-plan meals a week. I say, you know what? I'm home late. Today's going to be the day. I'm going to order an off-plan meal. So I ordered the delivery before I leave the gym. It takes me about 35 minutes to get home. Delivery takes about 45 minutes. Smart. So I'm like, cool. I get home. Gets about 9:15, 9:20. Delivery's here. It says, I'm here. I look outside my window. I've got no neighbours. Man's not here. I say, sir, I think you're in the wrong location. I know exactly where I think he is. I live behind like a court of houses. I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of hard to find, but it's not actually that hard to find. So he says, I don't understand English, so can you text it to me? I said, I was trying to explain how to get to my house. I said, yeah, sure, no sweat. So I'm texting him how to get there. He goes, I don't understand English. I said, no sweat, I'll come meet you. It's all good. I go meet him. The man's not here either. He's nowhere. So I'm like, this is very confusing. Then they messaged obviously saying, your driver's been waiting for 5 minutes. Please go get him. I was like, oh, Travis, there's no one here. I've left. I've gone down the driveway. It's a long driveway, very long, very windy as well. No one exists on this planet right now. Okay. Then he leaves. He's like, yeah, couldn't deliver your food. You didn't turn up. I was like, neither did you. Okay. So I called delivery. I'm like, what's up, homies? Basically, a bit of an issue. There's a language barrier. I don't think he understood where the place was. No sweat, but I said, I just want you to reassure him that it's not his fault. I understand. Like, oh, I'm a nice guy. I said, just make sure the driver knows it's not his fault. Shit happens. He goes, okay, we'll send you another one. I said, bless. So, send me another one. You think this is where the story ends, but it does not end here.
I'm really hoping it's the same guy.
No, it gets to 10:30. 10:30 and I bear my order at 8:30. I'm starving right now. I'm so catabolic. It's actually a joke.
You must be withering away at this point.
Honestly, I'm literally I'm on the floor.
Something from
crying.
Indiana Jones.
I'm eating the crumbs that might be underneath a table right now to try and save my muscle
off
mass.
The table, just
literally.
Sustenance.
I'm eating wood right now. I'm looking for bugs as well. Get the protein. And then so it gets 10:30. He goes, I'm here. I say, oh, shock? No, you're not. So I'm like, he's obviously lost it. I said, don't worry. I tried to explain where I was, but I said, don't worry, I'll just come meet you. So I go meet him. I said to him, there's if you drive out of where you are right now, turn around, drive out, and look immediately right, there's another road. He's like, no, I can't see it. I walk down the driveway. He's on the road. The road he couldn't see, he was on. I want to clarify. So I was like, crazy. So I walk up behind him. He's like, oh, hello. I was like, hi. So he gives me food.
Why is that such a surprise?
I was like, what's going on? So he gives me my food. I pick up the bag, and I feel like this is a very light bag. He now drives off. I open the bag. He's not giving me any food. He gave me a drink. I was like, oh, this is not my day.
What?
Yeah, he just gave me a drink. So I was like,
what drink?
It was a chocolate milkshake.
Oh, is that it?
I know that's the thing, but I had my burgers and everything. But no, I didn't.
Maybe he ate the
Well, I think so I called up. I said, fuck, guys, what's up, homies? I said, look, we've got a bit of a situation again. Just spoke to you, but here we are. And they're like, yeah, we gave him the food, but obviously he's not giving it to you. I said, shit happens. I called up delivery again. I'm like, it's me again. Guess who's back? So basically, the situation is, guess what's happened? They're like, oh, good. So, okay, we'll send you another one. Anyway, so 3 hours later at this point, I ordered at 8:30. It's now 11:30. My food arrives and I ate it, and I just sat there, just like, you know what?
Cried
because I'm thinking, it's now 11:30 at night. I've got many a calorie to consume left, and I just sat there crying. I didn't actually cry, by the way. I sat there editing a video, just contemplating life.
You don't go to bed until like 5 a.m. anyway, so why is that a problem?
It was actually 4 a.m. Thank you very much, yesterday. Today, technically.
That's insane. That's still.
You waited so long, you probably should have been eating the second meal at that
point.
Well,
if I knew it was going to take 3 hours, I would have eaten another meal.
Did you have any food in the house?
Yeah, but if I was going to cook a chicken or something, they said, okay, well,
cook a chicken.
If I was going to cook my chicken, yeah, but okay, imagine it. So
chicken.
they're like, okay, your food's going to be here 9:20. I get home 9:10 or something.
No, yeah,
so I'm like, fine. Then they're like, okay, it's going to be at 10:30. Okay, well, warm the oven, half an hour to cook chicken. Okay, it's going to be 10 at this point by the time I eat. 10:30, might as well just wait half an hour. They're like, okay, now it's 11:30. I was like, well, what?
We've all been in this situation where
Have we? Have we all been in this situation, Chris? Because 28 years I've never been in this situation until now. Okay, you think I'm happy about this, Chris?
No, I was furious when it happened to me. I had to wait 2 hours for a delivery.
I'm not angry with the drivers. I want to clarify, because it's not their fault. Shit happens. My place could be a bit hard to find. Obviously, it is a language barrier. It's hard for me to explain exactly where it is. So it's not his fault. I respect it. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate the grind you're working. But I'm angry with Deliveroo for just being... They were absolute arseholes on the phone. They were really arseholes. And that's why I kept saying to them, reassure the drivers it's not their fault, because I don't want them to feel guilty. I don't want to feel like they fucked up, or Deliveroo to think they fucked up.
To be fair, I don't think the second guy felt guilty. It probably just ate your food.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't speak about it. The first guy made me feel bad because I could tell he was trying. That's why I said I'll go meet him. I was like, I feel really bad because obviously I'm trying to explain. He doesn't quite understand, and it must be really annoying for him because he's probably getting a bit frustrated. So I was like, it's not your fault. Don't sweat, man. It's all good. But then he left anyway. So
cool. So what other first world problems do people have?
I hate him.
Have you seen Tinder Swindler yet?
I've watched it after you told me to.
Oh yeah,
my God.
I also fell asleep during the first, just for half an hour.
Okay, well, good. Did you watch it through to the end? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh,
grow up.
Oh my God.
It's
wild.
Good.
It is so crazy that.
Can he go on a date with that Russian lady who's what's her name that's been pretending to be a Viscount or something or other? There's another Netflix thing.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this one as well.
And something or other. It's basically the female version of the Tinder Swindler.
I actually love it because every time my friend Sam says anything in Discord, he just replies, Peter is down! Peter is down! Oh my God. And every time someone gets downed in COD, always, Peter is down! It just does me.
That's a very niche joke. If you've not seen it.
Watch Tinder Swindler. If you don't get it, then probably stop listening to this podcast. Thanks. Please don't actually do that. I need the listens. Thanks.
We do need the listeners.
I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but
Peter is down.
But Peter is down. But the end of it is the most crazy thing because he faked all of that, and now he lives the life that he always wanted anyway. Because
we think. We think.
Well, if you look at his Instagram, he basically
I can find his Instagram.
Well, this is just the irony of it all, really. Like, he faked being someone, faked having all this money because he's stealing other people's money and spending it on other people is basically the premise of the thing. And now he went to prison, not for the reason for taking people's money, because he was using a fake passport is the reason why they got him.
That literally sounds like so many fitness influencers. It's crazy, stealing people's money. It's actually wild.
It's like fake it till you make it, and now he's made it. Because everyone has this weird like voyeuristic, they've watched the documentary, now they want to see what he's actually like. They're now basically just giving him the lifestyle that he wanted.
They love him,
and now he just gets away with it. He's going to live his life now.
He's always dudes. Obviously, so many dudes like that. I mean, fair play to him. I was like, oh, you're a knobhead. Shut up.
The bit that actually did wind me up was when the girls went to the media with it all, and it all came out, and then everyone was like, "Stupid girls for falling for it."
That's just victim blaming. That's just people being arseholes. Like, you don't know, you only know one element of the story. You don't know everything. It's like, it's not victim blaming, cocks.
You ever thought about turning your comments off?
What on
your videos? Because of people that just they probably watch the first 4 seconds and they're just like, Harry's a knob.
That's the reason I leave the comments on. I had one yesterday. I didn't get in a scrap. Someone said I basically spoke, Chris will vouch, you both vouch for me on this. I said, obviously, when looking at like fat loss and the maintenance of fat loss, resistance training, if you could only choose one, is superior to cardio.
100%.
Research supports that. Yeah. She lost her shit at me saying, you're lying to your audience. Cardio is a king of fat loss. I said, look, research suggests otherwise. Have a good old chat. And then, I want to get the comment out and read it because it was good. But she was basically stating how, like, when looking at like in the moment calorie expenditure, cardio is better. I said, yeah, in the moment. Yeah, she's like, I burn 600 calories doing cardio. I'm never going to burn that in a resistance training.
She know that she's burnt 600
I'm going to get my response.
Because the thing that annoys about that is then people don't realise that adaptation occurs, so your body gets more like efficient at burning calories. So that's 600 calories you think you burnt because the treadmill told you is probably
the treadmill calories thing is just the most. It's like it's
dumb.
voodoo basically. Yeah. It's crazy.
I said to my client the other day, I was like, never use it to actually say like, oh, you've burnt 600 calories, but the machine will be fairly consistent with its reading, so at least like use it as like a time domain maybe.
Or if you've pushed a bit harder, maybe if you've gone a bit steeper on your incline or increased the level, so therefore you know that you've done the same but pushed a little bit harder.
Definitely, like a rep or like a unit of time. I say, look at the calories on the machine. If you did 600 last time, you did 650, then you probably did work harder, but you definitely haven't burnt 50 more calories, so just ignore that. So she's wrong. Sorry to... Okay, right.
So the original comment was, cardio is the king of fat loss and is so important for heart health. Heart is the most important muscle, not the biceps. Wrong.
Excuse me?
Take that back.
Oh my God.
You will not lose muscle from low intensity cardio or even moderate intensity. Sad that you don't promote it. I said, number one, no, it's not, regarding like being king of fat loss, and research supports that. Number two, I didn't reference heart health. I referenced fat loss and the maintenance of fat loss. I also didn't speak about the loss of muscle either, so I'm unsure where you're picking these points from, but I wish you all the best. Because I'm not trying to be an arsehole. So then she goes, oh, this is it. Sorry, but nope. Weightlifting.
Sorry, but nope.
Apology not accepted. Weightlifting does increase muscle mass, but when compared to at the moment cardio, it burns way more calories. Stop lying to the people.
Show your receipts.
I can burn 600 to 700 calories in 1 hour doing cardio, but you can never do that lifting. People are lucky if they burn 300 calories on a very hard leg day, and you know that. I'm an advocate of moving more and eating more. As a girl who can lose body fat eating 1,800 to 2,000 calories because I do cardio versus these girls who only lift and have to dip their calories by 1,500. Go on. I'll do my response after you say what you want to say.
No, I was going to say manual calorie burn is the worst way to lose fat. You want to build your deficit into your diet.
You want to increase your metabolic rate.
Yeah, exactly. Build muscle, build your metabolic rate up, and use your diet to do that.
Well, it's funny you said that. I stated that if you could only choose resistance training or cardio for fat loss and the maintenance of fat loss, I'd choose resistance for this reason. If you burn 2,000 calories while at rest and do 600 calories worth of cardio 3 times per week, so totaling 1,800 calories additional expenditure, over a 7-day period, your total calorie expenditure would be about 15,800 calories. If you increase muscle mass, which in turn increases your BMR, and you now burn 2,200 calories at rest, in addition to resistance training 3 times a week, that say burns 300 calories a session, so 900 calories total expenditure in addition, your weekly expenditure is now 16,300 calories. Okay? So obviously burning more in a week, fantastic.
And some numbers always looks good.
Yeah, literally it made me look smarter than I actually am. I didn't do very well at school. So I said, sure, you burn more calories in the moment when doing cardio, but 1, you don't lose fat in the moment. It's a process. And number 2, weekly calories are more important than daily calories. I said, you can certainly do both to enhance weekly expenditure even further, but you don't need to. Resistance training is more effective if you only choose one, and research supports this. Then I also went on to say, like, I also want to note that as a profession, I'm a heart rate variance analyst using electrocardiograms to identify physiological metrics.
Science.
So I had to throw that in there because otherwise people say, are you actually qualified? And I actually want to say I actually am qualified and this is what I do.
It goes back to something I just said about the manual calorie burn and then like adaptation process. Like, yeah, sure, she'll burn 600 calories, but then if that's diminishing returns, because that's what cardio does in terms of calorie burn, diminishing returns, you get more efficient at burning
fitter,
fuel.
basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Like heart health and fitness, I speak about this in the video tonight. It's like for the heart health and the old fitness, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, great.
But what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve here?
When I have dieted for bodybuilding shows or photo shoots, I always find that obviously the leaner I get and the fitter I get, the more cardio I have to do to get consistent fat loss, because essentially the cardio just suddenly becomes too easy. And the best way I monitor that is with the old heart things on that, because usually to get my heart rate up to like 120 gets harder and harder the fitter I get.
Well, the way things
it's adaptation for you.
Yeah, adaptation. That's it in practice.
Yeah, it's just about trying, although it's never going to be perfect, just trying to keep as many variables as consistent as possible. So okay, well, at least this is doing something like it was doing last week, and now I know what to do to adjust, sort of thing. You've got
to have triggers and switches in order to up the ante all the time as things progress.
And if you go top shelf of everything to start with, you've got nowhere to go. So you might as well, like you say, keep things consistent, and then like you said, Chris, build it over time. So then you can keep pulling new things into your training.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. I think like the implementation of like cardio for like fat loss, I think most people could probably achieve their goals without doing any cardio when looking at purely like fat loss. The only reason like Chris for example, might do cardio is so he could probably eat a bit more, especially if you're in a deficit when you're going for a show. You want to essentially be able to eat more, so you try and burn more elsewhere.
There's many different reasons as to why you would adjust calories over cardio, because essentially it depends what your sport is, it depends what your muscle mass is, and so on.
Yeah.
So body composition will affect how much of one you do and whether you need to do any. But essentially, I'm a big fan of if I can eat more, then I'll do the extra cardio.
That's why some people do it on a bulk. Like Eric Konevsky used to do cardio on a bulk just because he did love food, so he could eat an extra 500 calories.
I found a client that has slightly higher body fat percentage as well, like getting steps in. So doing steady state is really important.
That's what I promote is I say like move more, so do more steps, eat a bit lesser in deficit and resistance training. It's like what Dr. Mike Israetel says. He says most people can achieve their fat loss results by going to the gym and resistance training, eating in deficit, and just getting more steps in. If you do 10,000, do 12,000.
And you know what? Like you got to try that first, because some people think, oh, that won't work for me. So we'll try it, and if that doesn't work, then you move on to the smaller rocks.
Well, the thing ultimately is like if you try it and you're not losing weight, then you're probably not in a deficit. So something needs to change.
You're probably not applying one of those things, are you?
Move a bit more. Yeah. Eat a bit less, or then you can consider.
Well, we are going to be talking more about diets in depth later in this episode.
Yeah, we don't give away too much.
There's plenty more to talk on that topic. It's a pretty endless, mountainous subject. But we might as well move swiftly on to Harry's core number one subject for the show today. Harry, if you would care to take the mic, as you always do.
So someone asked how often we need to change, or how often you should change your movements in your training program. And this actually kind of gets answered in today's video, but we're going to speak about it more extensively here. And ultimately, I think we all agree, it depends what your goals are. Like if you're training purely for enjoyment, I mean, in theory, change them however often you want. Like, it really doesn't matter. If you're training like to optimize the building of muscle, for example, so hypertrophy, you change them as infrequently as possible. Because if it's not broken, don't fix it. And then find those like micro progressions towards the like later end of your training block is when the work really counts. But if you can no longer progress the movement, and that's not due to external factors, stress, sleep, etc., then don't change it. You need to get used to the movement and just do better with each movement. Progressive overload.
I think for me personally, I think people seem to skip the basics too quickly.
Agreed. Yes. I kind of had this conversation. This is kind of a bit of a lot of newcomers in the gym. Although I'm all for like optimizing your training, I think a lot of people are skipping the basics to then try and optimize their training, but also neglecting just training hard.
Do you think that social media has something to do with
100%.
Oh, that was basically my next thought.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Mike, please. I agree.
No, I insist.
Well, no, that was what I was going to say. It's probably because of social media and the fact that influencers need to reinvent the wheel all the time.
Keep themselves interesting.
Listen, I'm fully support optimization. Obviously, I'm trying to optimize my training, but I've also been training so many years, and I've learned how to train with intensity and also just train properly. I think a lot of people neglect, like Chris said, the basics, neglect learning how to train with intensity, and skip straight to the more intermediate to advanced step, which is optimizing everything else.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's like, if you're already in the phase of optimizing, then you probably are a bit more advanced, because you're now having to find those tiny little 0.5%, 1% to get your training to move on. Most people probably don't need that unless they are going for a specialized goal, someone like yourself for your bodybuilding or someone like you for your powerlifting. Most people don't really need to be... for me, I rotate an exercise out when one of two things occur for me personally with my clients. Number one, if the stimulus doesn't really seem to be doing something that I want it to anymore, but even then I don't rotate it out. I try and figure out why that exercise isn't effective anymore, or the performance plateaus in some way.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, it's like, well, I'm not sorry, it might be boring, but boring works.
Well, isn't it? You're looking for fun, you're looking for effective. Obviously, you can find a mix between them both, but it's let's look at the extremes of one or the other. I think that's the kind of your point of when it's not working, or if it's not doing what you thought it was going to do, then it is broken and probably needs to be changed or fixed. I think when you're kind of like in one of like the advanced stage of lifting or like intermediate stages, when you can start considering placing greater emphasis on like the iliac fibers of the lats, for example, then I think the place of optimizing movement selection is maybe a bit more important, because you are really looking to fine tune, because you're past the newbie gains, you're struggling now to make the progress.
I think for bodybuilding, and obviously anyone listening who looks to kind of build up a certain muscle group, whether it be you want bigger glutes, let's say, or in my case, I wanted to develop my lower lats more in the last year. So I modified my training to have a kind of a different emphasis on underhand grip exercises in order to stimulate the lower lats and things like that.
Which often refers to like iliac fibers.
Yeah, exactly. And then for kind of glute development and stuff, you get a lot of people who will be investigating different methods, but a lot of people really will just circle back to the same kind of hip thrusts, really.
A great movement.
If you're busting out a 200 kilo hip thrust, shout out Emma Raducanu, then you're going to have good glutes. Shout out me. You're going to have great glutes, aren't you?
You know what's even interesting about that is I was having the squat hip thrust debate with someone the other day, and it's one of those things where like the squat will elicit more growth in the glutes than the hip thrust will, but if you can actually have the hip thrust in there too, that's great. But people would take out the squat in order to do other fruity exercises, and I'm like, going back to the basics and keeping those in, if they're working for you, keep them in. Like, you're going to get more out of that.
That's also going to be like a biomechanics thing as well, though, because some people might not suit a squat, whereas they might suit hip thrust and other exercises more, let's say.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I always come from the approach of like, I'm always trying to get people to do these big exercises as well, and like that's where I come from. That's the approach I take. I try and get someone to squat well, and then that should do a lot of that moving for me. And then if they're like, right, I still need to work on my glutes, so right, let's add a hip thrust in rather than take a squat out.
I think ultimately it comes down to a few things. Like, do I think you need to squat for like great lower body? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree.
Can you squat? Sure, absolutely. I think when it comes to let's look at a beginner, for example, if you can squat well, you could probably leg press well, and you could probably split squat well. You could probably walking lunge. You could probably do a lot of other similar movements quite well, which is why I think basics are very important. But when it comes to like optimizing like the development of certain areas, I think the squat can be better than the hip thrust for some people, but I'll flip it around. I prefer the hip thrust for glute development. Obviously, I've got no arse, so I can't really pipe up. That's not the point. Purely because when I'm looking at, like, say, taking a muscle to or close to failure, I've got to look at the considerations of what could be hindering my ability to do so. For example, with a hip thrust, for example, I think ultimately when it comes to it, if I fail on a hip thrust, my glutes are probably what's failing. Whereas on a squat, if I fail on a squat, it's probably something else that's holding me back. So, for example, my quads will probably fail before my glutes do. Therefore, I would probably like Chris as well, prefer a hip thrust over a squat when purely isolating glute development. Although I know you can change by the movement to favour more or bias certain muscles a bit more. fine. Just for me personally, my quads would hold back my glute development.
Well, there's a little switch up for a squat. I would say if you want better glute development, is just don't go ass to grass. I think if you don't go, the deeper you go, I think the more quads take over for me personally. You might disagree with that, but I always find that if I don't do full depth squats, which often I will have to do because of my hip issue, being an older man.
I didn't say I want to clarify. I said nothing about age.
Not this episode, anyway.
But when I do squat, I don't do like ass to grass squats, and because of that, I'm having to stop myself. Not, I'm still getting just above parallel, but because of that, my glutes fire up way more than if I'm doing like proper ass to grass stuff.
That could be potentially some kind of hip thing, potentially.
Look, we're all different, and we'll find, and that's one thing we'll always agree on with this podcast, because we are allowed to disagree, guys, apparently.
Well, that's the thing. I think ultimately, if we don't agree with something, I fully acknowledge, although I may not necessarily agree with something that Mike and or Chris has said in the past, or even now, whatever it may be, I also acknowledge this is my approach, and this is maybe based on what I have read, and they may have read different things, and this is based on my opinion. It's also based on what works for me. It doesn't mean it doesn't, like, what works for me may not work for them, and what works for them may not work for me. Like, at the end of the day, despite what the research says, I think you have to find out what works best for you, and that's the process in itself.
No, definitely, and I agree. And kind of circling back, like, for me, the reason why I said about using the squat more is because for me, I'm always looking at more of a global thing. But I do agree, like, if you want to target a certain area, then if the hip thrust is working for you and you think you can get more out of it, then put it in. But I always try and think about trying to create a whole system.
Well, I think you talk about more perspective of complete fitness and like a bit of everything, whereas I think Chris and I are a bit almost like honing in and just isolating a singular point here. So I think it's just very different approaches to training styles. Definitely. And again, are your goals bodybuilding? Therefore, your approach may be different. Are your goals more fitness-oriented, CrossFit, something along those lines? Then again, your goals may be different then.
I think a lot of people who just want to look good won't necessarily call it bodybuilding, but really that's what it is.
Well, if you're building your body to some extent, arguably, it doesn't mean you're competitively bodybuilding. You're just bodybuilding.
I think that's the cut and thrust.
Training for hypertrophy purposes.
You can build a muscle or it gets smaller. That's all you can really do.
It's like in Formula 1, they say you're either accelerating or you're braking. You're never just cruising sort of thing. You build or shrink essentially, or decline. I don't say decline. You kind of gain or lose.
Yeah, it's like you build muscle tissue, and fat tissue is fuel.
And then I think
so
when people come down to like talk about like maintaining maintaining muscle mass, they're probably building in very, very small increments. You don't just kind of really hover in many cases, I don't think. But I don't really know mass amounts to really discuss too much on that. I feel like we kind of circled away from the original topic of how often do you need to change.
I was going to say, if you want to circle back to that, is there anything you want to add to kind of changing up workouts? Like,
I think the way I would say it is, again, like we always say, is it depends what you're trying to achieve. Let's say building muscle, as I said, as infrequently as possible, unless if it's not broken, don't change it. But also, unless your goals change. So if you say, actually, I'm doing this, but now I want to place greater emphasis on this area of my pecs, then I change because my goals have now changed.
I think a very key takeaway from what you're saying here is people shouldn't feel frustrated about the fact that they do the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel bad about that. Ultimately, if you're progressing if you're progressing using that your core workout that you've familiarized yourself with or what you have access to in the gym, then great. But if there are areas that you feel that you're lacking in, or maybe someone has cast their eye over your development and said maybe you should try bringing this area up just to complete your physique a bit, then change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And it's funny you saying that, actually, that I've had chats with clients and people on the gym floor for years where they'll say like, my program, I need to change things up. Is it working? Yes. Then why do you want to change it? I
mean, just change the reps for a start would be
that could be simple, something you could do.
A rep, or even the time under tension could be changed, or just work a bit harder.
The thing about like exercises themselves is really they're just skills. I think you're learning things, aren't you? So if you want to spend time learning a skill, like squatting, for example, is a skill. You need to learn how to do that. And obviously, kind of going back to what I said earlier about why I like to use it or a variation of it in my programs with my clients, whether it's single leg or but using both legs, is because you need time to build this skill up.
Absolutely.
So it might get frustrating sometimes, but learning that skill, you kind of need to spend a bit of time on it. You can't just give up on it straight away.
Yeah, well, training is a process, and it's unfortunately in many cases it's quite a boring process to us. It's very repetitive. But I think go back to what Chris says is that if you do fancy a change, you can ultimately change your rep range. Ultimately, if you're looking at muscle building, you want to stay within the 5 to 30 rep range, ideally. Those kind of elicit very similar hypertrophy responses. But for me personally, based on like my reading, my understanding is I wouldn't stress too much about altering tempo. I remain a consistent tempo throughout because I don't really buy into time under tension. I always say control the eccentric, make sure you're actually getting a good stretch, so you're going through a full active range of motion, so the muscles getting lengthened and shortened. Explode on the concentric, so you're trying to shift it from stretch to contracted as fast as possible, and then hold the peak contraction for a portion or a period, half second, whatever it may be. Just make sure your movement quality and tempo is consistent, because a lot of research suggests that ultimately you recruit more muscle fibers, which then results in better hypertrophy response if your concentric portion of the rep involuntarily slows. So i.e. you're trying to explode but you no longer can move very quickly, therefore greater hypertrophy response, versus if it voluntarily slows, i.e. time under tension and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, exercise selection is a filtration process. Like you said, depending on your goals, that will help you select your rep range. And then when you think about what you're trying to achieve in your training, that's another filter you put on top. And then you're only really left with a few exercises, really, and they probably need to be the staple of your program. And you can deviate away from them, of course you can, but you might also deviate away from the path of least resistance towards your goal as well. Yeah. So I think you just got to decide what's more important.
And ultimately, if you find yourself really bored of your training, and therefore you can no longer remain consistent with it, although it may not be optimal to change, well, arguably if you can't stay consistent with something, is it optimal anyway? Therefore it might be worth changing something. If you're really on that ball where you feel like you're missing things and it's now negatively impacting your training, then sure, change it up. Do what's best for you.
Or change your goal.
Maybe change your goal, yeah.
Just offhand, I don't mind time under tension, bringing that in sometimes. I think it has its place.
I bring it in more for technical purposes. So if I'm trying to hammer squat technique, I might do like a real time under tension squat, like 3 seconds down, 1 second pull, 3 seconds up, to really kind of put me in that movement for a significant period of time to see what's breaking down, etc.
Do like a bit of a pause squat sometimes.
I think pause movements in general are fantastic.
Well, that's time under tension.
Well, I think the reference of time under tension usually comes down to deliberately slowing the concentric. Right. That's my kind of understanding of time under tension, is deliberately placing great emphasis on the slowing of the concentric portion, to then, in theory, burn.
There's 4 parts to a movement, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I know what you mean.
But I think that if you do technically, if you're, let's say, hampered in some way or even injured, and you're looking to drive a lot of blood into the muscle for the purpose of recovery, or even just to train where you can't, train to your maximum strength, then employing time under tension, slowing a movement with a lighter weight, will enable you to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, because if you're that's coming from a standpoint of someone who's facing a physical hindrance, like injury, whereas mine's more the optimization, provided you're healthy.
What is optimal versus what suits the person?
Theoretical optimization, we'll say.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Well, anyway, there's
that could be a topic for a future video. Ooh. The discussion of optimizing training and like time on tension, things like that.
I like to use tempo for the same reasons you do, because I say hypertrophy is something I can elicit in clients, and I do. I do it with all my clients, but not to the standard where, you're going to step on stage, for example. But I like to use tempo for teaching, because if you slow movement down, you can see where things go wrong. You can see a hip shift in a squat. I mean, you can see a scapula moving, and you're like, that's why your neck hurts. That's why your knee hurts.
Yeah, that's
kind of things.
That's true.
That tempo helps a lot with that.
That's what I used to do a lot when I was powerlifting, when like the off-season phase.
Your scapula would come out.
Everything would come out. My back would break.
Count scapula.
Count scapula, literally.
I like that.
That's quite good. I like that.
You will see top bodybuilders, though, that employ the kind of slow reps in order to build a muscle at the end of the day.
I think the thing is, when you look at like top bodybuilders, though, is that what we can't apply.
No, I agree. Because
like Ronnie Coleman wipes his arse and gets a huge back. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're a genetic freak, you sneeze and get jacked.
He's also now, isn't he in a wheelchair now?
No, he's on crutches.
He's basically getting there.
He basically is so sad. Yeah, he walks around basically at 90 degrees on crutches.
I do want to kind of clarify quickly is that you cannot, not you, but like I see a lot of people on TikTok do this. You cannot use the justification of Jay Cutler trains like this, so I should train like this. And we spoke about this sort of thing before.
We've had this before where I've said that using someone like Bumstead is a bad idea for your inspiration, because ultimately they're incredible people who are also enhanced.
And you also got to look at like Jay Cutler, for example, would train for 3 hours a day. I guarantee he's not getting any more benefit from doing 45 sets of back in a day. He's probably training because he just fucking loves it. Like he loves training.
And also using gear allows you to kind of skirt some of the
Our
older.
old friend, Mr. Gear.
Yeah.
You can tolerate more
But
of many things.
That's not me just throwing like a because you're using
Throwing
gear.
a needle.
no, it's
throwing
just,
a needle at him.
it just essentially, if you have a ceiling, it raises it. If your car is limited to 90 miles per hour, you go on, depending on how much you're taking,
Yeah.
your limiter now may now be moved to 100 miles per hour. You still got to put the foot down, sort of thing. The
Right,
ceiling
Of
is
course. You
raised.
still got to apply the same principles.
Yeah.
but
This
you
is
can
not the
recover a
topic.
bit
This is not the
quicker.
topic.
Drug topic next week, coming soon.
Coming soon.
We will get someone on maybe to talk about drugs at some point, because I think I know as much as like it's a bit of a dark, kind of elephant in the room vibe, I still think that someone should talk about it, because guaranteed there'll be people listening that
I think it's important to understand its application and when that would be something
it scares
to add
me,
in.
man. It
I
scares
know,
me.
I know,
think-
but
yeah.
when to add it into your life? Because
No,
I think it's
let's
a
not.
lot.
Let's not.
No, not encouraging it.
No, I know what
Mike.
Mike's saying is more, if you're going to do it anyway, you're going to do it.
Yeah,
But it's just about, if you are going to do it and you're set on doing it, trying to do the best time to do it if you are
Anyway.
going to do it, sort of thing.
We're not
So
gonna-
I get what you mean, Mike.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll maybe if you want us to go into a bit more, if you want us to explore the potential of that topic for another show, please do contribute.
The form.
Yes.
Oh,
Google
the form
form.
that we keep forgetting about.
You guys forget, I don't. We have
That's why he's here.
you can contribute to this show by going to our Instagram, the link on our Instagram. So our Instagram is Pump Fiction Pod.
You'll see a link tree that has a link to an OnlyFans. You can contribute there as well. Subscription is $5.99 a month. Thanks.
We need the funds for secret projects.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, but there's also the form there where you can send us your Q&A. You can send us topics you'd like us to talk about, and you can also do an interesting part, which is confessions, where we'd encourage you, if you have any kind of, you can do this anonymously, any confessions. Actually, I could pull one up now.
Yeah, like the time I saw a man's ballsack on the mat when he was doing crunches. Confession. And I couldn't stop staring.
Was he
I'm
wearing
fine admitting
shorts,
that.
little shorts.
Yeah, really run a
Yeah.
So
short.
this is
yeah.
what you've seen in the gym. You saw a man's ball sack.
I could tell you the gym. I could tell you what I was training. I remember it so well. It was one of the best days of my life.
Best.
Best.
Top shelf.
You
That's
heard
a
me.
top tier.
I went to an all-boys school. I've seen some things in my time.
We have a confession here that says, I would just like to express my disappointment towards people using all the barbell pads for back squats when I need them for my hip thrusts.
Wow. The bar pad thing does scare me slightly, because it's like, let's make this
I understand.
movement even more unstable.
I understand why it's used, because it hurts. But it's
Yeah,
one of the
but-
things. But it's one of the things of I personally do not back it, because I think it can really hinder your squat and your squat progression, because you need to feel that bar on the
And
back.
maybe you need someone to teach you where to put the bar. Because
Yeah,
if
that's
you
the
rest
other
it
thing.
on your neck,
That's
and
the
your
other big thing,
spine, then
yeah.
that will hurt, because
Yeah.
there's lots of nerves in there.
I actually answered this in my 20K Q&A in my
You
YouTube
did a
video.
20k.
Yeah,
Should we do a
yeah.
3,000 listen?
Well, I feel like 5 is a better number.
5. Okay, fine.
We'll do something special at 5,000
Yeah,
listens.
I
Maybe
have that
when we
instead.
get
Stop
to
putting the bar
certain-
on your neck, basically.
My own personal gym confession is I once dropped a bar on someone's iPhone and bent it in two.
That's quite funny.
Bent it, didn't even smash it, just bent it.
Well, it did. The screen was basically broken completely, but it was a convex
Oh,
iPhone.
nice.
And I didn't
A
even
flip phone.
I didn't even realize that I'd done it until the point where he came over to me and said, "You've just done this," and I was like, I just didn't believe him.
Did you have to buy him a new phone?
No, I know the guy, and
Who
he
was it?
kind of forgave me. Which no one you know.
Expose him.
He forgave me over time, but then also randomly, like a week later, I had a flat tire in the car park of the gym, and he happened with a nail in the sidewall, and he happened to be a builder.
What a coincidence.
So I challenged him on that, which he then denied.
You take your tire into
Now
the gym.
we're even.
Take the tire into the gym. You just did this.
So yeah, I feel like
Drive the car into
that,
it.
even though mine was completely by mistake, I did feel that he wanted
He
to
might have
get
done that by mistake.
Wanted to get vengeance.
Builders always have stuff in their pockets. There was a guy in the gym the other day who he had tools in his pocket, and because one fell out, like a knife, like a Stanley knife.
A knife?
Oh,
Yeah.
you got to be real careful where you're going with that big man.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
bring knives.
No, I know. It's like a Stanley knife, and then we found
That's not a knife.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. And then there was something else. It was like a random small tool, but it was definitely a builder's one, because it was covered in like plaster and stuff. And I was like, why are people training in the stuff that they've just come to from
Look,
work?
they're getting the workout in. You turn up to the gym with your 2 laptops in your military bag.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to back Chris here. Let's go now.
So I put my bag in the office, and then they come into the gym wearing the same work boots, work trousers, work top they've worn all day. They go on the treadmill. They leave mud and plaster everywhere, and then it's just like jump on the bench press, no warm up, just straight on the bar.
That's what kind of baffles me about these.
It's like cool, yeah. Cheers, then.
People who do like labour work. And absolute mutants, because they'll be on the site for 10, 12 hours a day. A lot of
sat in a squat, like, all
a lot of
day.
movement, and they'll still come to the gym raw doggy it, no pre-workout.
Yeah,
and I look at them and say, you know, I've got respect for.
That's why they're in incredible shape, and
I will say their workouts are normally quite short because it's normally like half an hour. It's a bit of chest, a bit of arms.
At least they're doing it,
and then they're out.
No, I respect.
But, fair play. Maybe it's weak point training. They've done everything else, carrying everything all day.
Maybe we need to take more pre-workout.
We're going to do your mystery pot of Jack 3D, aren't we, that you've dug out from the...
I'm currently retiring from pre-workout.
I don't take it either. But
I don't take it either, but I took it once. And I'm blaming... I swear we spoke about this before. Maybe we didn't. It's quite... You're ready for this. It's going to get real vulgar, so if you don't want to listen to it, don't.
Just press mute.
Yeah, just mute. So I'm calling GT out for this. Christmas Eve last year. Christmas Eve 2020. Okay? So he's like, you know what? Let's go to the gym Christmas Eve. I said, yeah, of course. Go to the gym. Of course, it's Christmas Eve. Why wouldn't you? Go to the gym. He's like, I've got this pre-workout Wobbs. It's like 300 milligrams of caffeine per scoop. It's pretty spicy.
I've seen this tub before, yeah.
So he's like, have some. I said, Cham,
got some in the gym.
Yeah, I was like, Cham, I don't dabble with the devil's lettuce here. The devil's nectar of pre-workout. That's not me. I was like, you know what, fine. Christmas Eve, I'll do it. Took a scoop on the way to gym, got to gym. I felt fine. I was no sweat. There's no issue at all. He took a scoop. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not. Don't feel great. I feel a bit buzzy. I said, no, you know. He's like, take another half. I said, no. I said, no, I'll take another whole. Bear in mind, I do not consume any caffeine, no coffee, any of that shit. So there's me. I hammered 600 milligrams of caffeine.
Dude.
I said, you know what?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's mad.
Yeah. Oh no, you wait. I get into the gym. I'm like, 10 minutes in, doing barbell rows, hitting that shit to my stomach. I'm like, woo. Actually, I haven't done a poop. All I'd consumed,
here it comes. Yeah, I knew this was coming.
Was a smoothie with 5 different fruit and 2 different vegetables in it.
Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and I hadn't like. So I was basically on an empty stomach, and I went on to the toilet. I was like, GT, I'm just gonna go to the toilet for a sec. He's like, yeah, all right, okay. Go to the toilet, and I just sit there, not even on the toilet. I sit on the toilet lid, and I'm just shaking. I'm like,
it's horrible, isn't it?
I'm sweating.
I
feel bad. Then I'm like,
terrifying.
I can't emasculate myself and like say, guys, I need to go home. I'm scared. But then GT comes in. He messaged me saying, do you mind if we leave? I'm not feeling too well. I said, you know what? GT, it must be really horrible for you to feel like that in the gym.
You'll just sit there shaking.
I'm literally shaking, convulsing.
He's like, you okay?
I walk out and he's just there like, yeah, I feel quite sick. I said, yeah, GT, don't worry about my workout, man. I'll take you home. And he's basically thinking, what a great friend. Obviously, I don't give a shit about that.
You're terrified right now.
I'm petrified. I'm nearly about to cry. So I'm driving home. And then we get about 5 minutes into the journey. I'm shaking like you wouldn't believe.
The car's swerving.
I said, GT, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm so glad you wanted to leave because I think I'm going to be sick. And then he was like, the process of me driving from that gym to GT's house was about half an hour. Felt like days. Got to GT's house and I'm like laughing. I'm like sweating. I'm telling you one thing, I'm not feeling good. Drove from GT's house back to mine about 25 minutes. And that I just felt like that was the end. I felt like I was in a dream. I didn't know where I was.
You go like hazy, don't you?
Yeah, I was gone. And I was like,
caffeine.
Honestly, it got me hard. I walked through the door. And I lived with my mum at this point. I walked through the door. She looks at me. She goes, oh, hello, Barry. You okay? My mum calls me Barry. We'll get to that another time. And then I go, Mum and Pig, my sister being Pig.
The names in your family. How many names have you got?
I say, Mum, Pig, I fucked up. I'll see you in a bit. And they look at me. They're like, what? So I walk upstairs. I grab a bucket. I sit myself on the toilet. I put my phone to the right on the bath. A bucket in hand. Butt-ass naked at this point because I'm sweating.
Yeah, you get hot, don't you?
I'm gone. Just get in the shower. Just stay there. Or in the bath.
No,
your stomach knotting at this point.
Dark times are ahead of us, my children. Dark times ahead.
The storm chaser at work.
Honestly, so I'm there and I'm there like, here we go. So when you're on Thought Park, you get locked in. Yeah.
Strap in.
I was strapped in.
Both
so anyway,
ends.
Absolutely, honestly, Exodia obliterate that toilet. So I'm pulling my brains out and being sick at the same time.
It's bad, isn't it?
At both ends. But I mean, the force this was coming out as in, okay.
Well, you've got to think it's pre-workout, so it's going to come out at
honestly, terminal velocity. So I've got this bucket. I'm shaking at this point so much that this pink sick from the pre-workout on my smoothie is slapping me in the face. So I've got sick all over my so I'm shooting my brains out and I've got sick all over my face because I cannot stop convulsing. I was on the toilet for 3 hours. Honestly, and then after I had eventually realised that I could get off the toilet and I was in safe zone, I lay on the floor by the toilet for hours on end until GT called me in the dark, and I'm still on the toilet, on the floor by the toilet, basically crying, and I just burst out laughing. I go downstairs, I said to my mum, I said, "You're so lucky I'm in this family. Your life would be boring without me." And I didn't sleep. So this is Christmas Eve. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat any of Christmas Eve. I didn't eat until Christmas evening, and I didn't sleep until Boxing Day morning.
Wow.
Dude.
And yet you're single. I mean, what, how?
You can see now why people are like, when they're messing up their caffeine dosages and they're like popping in like Pro Plus in with, you're like, no.
Honestly, there's more to the story, but I'm not going to expose myself for that.
I think we've had enough. I think we're all right.
So my friend had a similar story, right? But there was this one called like Craze, and
I know that had DMAA in.
Yeah, so it had that in. And this guy was used to, I'm not going to say his name, this guy was used to taking stimulant pre-workouts, obviously like what you had, a lot of caffeine, you get like the itch, the beta-alanine goes to, but with Craze, it's not like a high stim one, so it's one of these like
mental focus.
Yeah, mental focus, because obviously you're basically taking drugs. And so he obviously, and it's addictive because it's drugs, they've banned it now obviously. He took a scoop for a few weeks, and then he was up to 3 scoops. And he said, and then one day he was like, "I just not feeling it, so I've just taken like 4 scoops."
Yeah, that's what I used to do. 4 scoops.
Dude, it's not a stimulant. You're not going to feel it like that. He was like, "Oh," and he went, "I need to go home." And I just watched him just wander into the car park, and he just sat on a wall for like an hour, spacing out.
I'm so glad you said that, because when I was hammering jacks back in the day, I'm taking 4 scoops. First time I ever took it, I cried in the toilets, and then the last time I took it, I went home and sat in a dark room for 3 hours and cried.
What is wrong with you people, man?
I was having don't have more than 1 scoop for 24 hours. I was having 4 or 5 scoops. I was like, give me more.
I'll call him out. I was like, I think Amars needs some help.
I think you need
He's just out on the wall in the rain.
Honestly, it made me feel so low.
It was such a good
pre-workout. It was a bad cut.
No,
the up was yes, but the come down was no.
No, the come down was always go to Roosters and get some chicken, because I always get really hungry afterwards for some reason.
Wow.
I've never had
So
Roosters.
The moral of the story, kids, if
Don't
you're
do
listening,
pre-workout.
is take pre-workout very responsibly.
And don't do drugs.
Read what says on the tub and probably start with half of that and see what tolerance is.
And if your friend tries to offer you pre-workout with loads of caffeine, you don't consume any caffeine in your life. Don't listen to him.
Dry scoop it either. Have you heard about people that have started not having a good time?
I used to dry scoop.
That's why I used to do
No,
back
but
in the day.
it's becoming like a craze again now, and people are like not having a good time with
A
it.
lot of the ingredients need to react in water, so you're not actually getting the full effectiveness of the pre-workout if you dry scoop it. So
people are choking and like not having a good time.
Like the cinnamon challenge.
Oh,
do you remember that?
Have you done that?
I did it. My friend's dad, I've got a ladle of cinnamon.
Idiot.
This man's Scottish. Unbreakable, and he ate it. He put it in his mouth, the whole ladle,
just chewed it
down and swallowed it, no water.
My friend used to do that with protein powder. He was from Sweden.
Yeah, that man
just throw it
help.
in. He'd just do this. You just chew it into a ball and you just chew it. And I was like, you are crazy.
That man. I'm
gone back to Sweden now.
Life's too short for that kind of thing.
Therapy.
Anyway, that's quite enough of that. Yes, we happy with that? We happy we've ticked off enough crazy pre-workout chat?
I hope someone listens to this. I really do.
And learns from it. Yeah, learns from Harry's bizarre errors.
It sounds like I cry a lot, but I really don't. I want to clarify.
Right, I've got a little bonus segment for today's show.
I want to know, we don't know about this, by the way. He won't tell us anything.
This is fresh to us too.
So it's kind of, I read in the news the other day that there's a new milk on the block.
Don't say breast milk.
No, it's not breast milk. We're not going to talk about the growth hormone effects of breast milk just yet. Maybe another show. But anyway, there's a new milk on the block, guys, and I thought I'd bring a couple along of other milks that we could try. Are you ready for this?
Oh my God, has he brought milk? And it's been out of the fridge?
Yeah, that's my concern. I'm 90% sure I'm lactose intolerant.
I am lactose intolerant. Just want to point that out.
Wait, can this be out? Because I'm scared I'm going to poo my pants now.
These are all... None of these, none of them are dairy.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, but that could be warm.
Because I would spend the next...
I don't drink your warm man milk.
It's UHT, it's long life stuff, so it can be warm. It doesn't have to be cold.
Good, because otherwise I would spend the next half of this podcast not on the podcast. I'd be somewhere else.
Right, and I'd be with him.
Yeah.
So
holding
my hand.
So we've got 3 milks that I've never tried before.
Oh, I'm excited.
And I just thought you boys might want to, enter this new world with me with new milk.
Fill me up, Daddy.
I've put worse stuff in my mouth. I'm going to be honest with you.
Do you know what the new milk on the block is?
Oh,
any guesses?
Okay, let's play a guess
Semen.
game. That's not where I would have gone
Hang
first.
on,
Is it from an animal?
I downloaded some game show.
It's not from an animal.
Hi,
I
and
like
welcome to Guess the Milk.
This sounds like Crash Bandicoot.
I love it.
I love that game.
I also
Fantastic.
like the song.
This is my quiz show voice. How's
I
that?
like it.
You're the reason I'm going to go back into therapy.
Welcome to Guess the Milk. I'm your host, Christy Fellows. And today's new milk on the block, ladies and gentlemen, it's potato milk.
Yeah, I'm
Get
out.
in the
I'm going
bin.
home. Yeah, go on, put some in. I'll be fine.
Potato milk, guys.
Go on.
We have potato
I
milk.
don't-
Yep, so I'm going to bring that down.
Fill me up, Daddy.
Anyway, I mean, I can leave the music on if you want.
Yeah, a little bit. Just keep it on because
I
there's
hope-
going to be a lot of.
I hope Siam is listening to this. Someone in the comments always comments saying, "Fill me up, Daddy. Fill me with your fitness knowledge, Daddy." On my comments.
So it did occur to me
That
that,
needs to go on a
that
t-shirt.
just bringing potato milk would be boring. So there's loads of milks now, and they're all obviously vegan friendly and all that business. So also for us to try, I don't know if you're familiar with it already, quite common on the block now, it's oat milk.
Oat milk actually.
Yeah, I do like oat milk.
Oat milk actually send me bangs.
Yeah.
So and
No, it
also
does bang.
also because you boys are special to me, I made sure it was the barista oat
Oh
milk.
yeah, of course.
So it's a premium organic barista oat milk.
That's my go-to.
And then the
my
third
latte.
is called Sprout, and it's powered, guys, by peas. It's pea milk.
Oh, pea milk. That sounds like that could be a video that you would not want to search for.
I don't want to play this game anymore. Can I?
I want to try the potato milk, definitely.
Well, what I was thinking we should do is you're gonna have
Arm wrestle.
is
Just complete segue to something else.
The
Is-
arm wrestle loser tries the milk.
No, because I want to try them all, so I don't want to wrestle you.
well, we are going to try them all, but what you're going to have to do, guys, is guess that milk.
Oh, okay.
So
do you
I'm
mean-
gonna-
Is it Mike's milk?
That's the surprise.
We've got some glasses on the table, fortunately. So we're going to pour. I'm going to start with one milk and pass it, and then I'm going to hide the milks now.
Okay, so we'll.
I'm actually anxious. I don't like trying new things.
Right. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
4.
I knew you were going to do that. 2. 2.
Two.
So
I'm in charge.
And let me have a drink of water so I can cleanse my palate.
Oh, don't.
I'm scared.
Aren't you meant to have what's a palate cleanser that you have?
Sorbet.
normally?
yeah, sorbet. Yeah.
Is it sorbet?
Yeah,
I
it's a
love
classic.
sorbet. I fucking love it. I love sorbet.
There's nothing in it, man. It's just
I
like fruity water.
Travis, it tastes fucking amazing.
I'm just trying to open it. It says shake it a bit.
You've literally. Chris has got
Shake it
milk. Chris is milked everywhere.
Milked
He
my
needs
laptop.
some milk.
Milked my MacBook.
He needs some milk.
Alright. Let's smell. Smells alright.
It smells.
It's on his nose.
I've got a milky hand.
Oh, good God.
Right, give us a glass. Come on. Give me your glasses.
I don't like this game anymore.
I do.
I'm gonna spit on the mic. I'm gonna. Be
I'm
honest.
still upset about that you like hit thrust more than squats. I'm still trying to get
No,
over
but
that.
that's just for the bottom. That's personal preference. As a movement, I prefer the squats because I hate doing hip thrusts, as you can tell.
But don't the squats at the bottom of the squat? Isn't there more activation in the glutes in that stretch position than a hip thrust?
So I look at more full ROM, don't I? Not just the bottom. Oh, I can look at the colour.
Yeah,
of
but
it.
isn't there more? Oh, good, not that is not the
Can I smell
colour
it?
of
Oh,
milk. That colour is the same colour as that lampshade, Harry.
That smells like arsehole, and I've smelt many of those in my time.
There's yours there, Mike.
Okay.
Okay, so milk number 1. It smells milky, I'd say. It's got a
went
milky
straight
colour.
in.
What milk have you tried? This is not.
I've just went straight
This
in.
is
I
potato
think
milk.
this is potato milk.
I can smell potatoes.
I can taste potatoes.
Oh fuck!
Actually, it's not that bad.
Drink the milk, Harry.
It's got a chalky taste to it.
I don't mind it.
It tastes a little bit because I used to eat a lot of. Okay, well, I'm not proud of this. I used to eat a lot of crayons when I was a kid, and this tastes a lot like that.
I'm not drinking all that.
Me and my friend Scott, when we were at school, we used to. I dared him to eat some PVC glue, and then he ate it and was like, "It's not actually that bad."
PVA glue.
Oh, is that what it is?
That the aftertaste is giving me PTSD.
And
Finish your milk,
I'm not
Harry.
finishing
we
that
spent
milk.
a-
Finish your milk.
I'm throwing it out the window.
We spent a whole art lesson
Get another
eating
glass.
the glue. You know, off the little spatulas.
You were just you're a crayon eating, glue drinking maniac.
Yeah.
That explains.
And guess
so
what?
much.
I was top set.
So adding this to your omission of theft on the last show, you've really got an interesting character building up.
I'm
a dark
a
past.
man of the people.
Stop drinking
glue
that milk,
eating
you
people.
absolute
Crayola
fiend.
Mike.
It's the aftertaste is done. The first taste wasn't awful, but
Okay.
it did taste chalky.
I'm going to go with potato.
Well, you
I'm
can
going
make a
potato.
note. You can make a note of that, and we'll reveal at the end. if you like.
Actually, I'm going to say potato, but I don't know.
Part of me questioned the barrister oat milk because it kind of tasted.
Barrister.
No, barista.
The
Yes,
barrister.
it's the legal
The
version.
barista.
The legal name.
The barista
for
oat
this
milk.
Right, next milk. I'm going to open.
The lid is white.
I do actually wonder if that might be oat milk.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because it has got kind of like you know, say like a chalky taste.
Yeah,
to it.
that's what I was tickling.
Okay, well I'm gonna have a bit of residue left in mine.
You can have a fresh glass if you want.
My armpits are sweating now. I'm going to be honest with you.
But it
I'm
might
actually
be just
really
because
anxious.
my body thinks that I'm having lactose and it's already starting to revolt.
Your taste. Oh, I don't like
Interesting.
How do you
that.
feel about the colour, glass?
It's more yellow than I expected.
I really don't want to play this game.
It smells exactly the same.
Oh.
That actually tastes so much more pleasant than the last one.
I don't believe you.
Oh, quite sweet.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I was thinking.
that must be oat milk.
Natural sweetness, that one.
But saying that I've got a hint of peas.
Yeah, I've got a bit of gravy in there.
I've got some
okay
petit pois going on in here now.
Peas are quite sweet. Well, it depends on the pea,
Should
obviously.
we bring the music back in?
Yeah.
I need a bit more music just to keep it fun.
Then by default, the last one's pea, so I don't have to taste it. Okay, cool.
No, see, I don't think we've got the order right here.
Right, it's okay. We've got the last one, so I'm going to need glasses from you. I've got a fresh one here for you, Mike.
Have you just...
No, I think he's... What have you dropped? Your bottle? Yeah. Sorry,
This is my emotional
I was
support
going to
water
say,
bottle.
there it is. Has it got a name?
Okay,
I'll
last...
say it, because obviously I don't want to assume...
How dare you eat my bottle?
Hey,
I
hey.
just call it my ear. Wait, was it? Wait, I'm tangled up. It's just my emotional support water bottle.
Okay, so it just remains nameless.
It does kind of have a name, but I'm not giving away that information on podcast
Why?
because
We know all your other nicknames for things.
no,
Just-
you don't know all of them. You haven't heard. Have I told you about slippery sausage?
Okay, last...
I don't know. That's totally caught me off
All right,
guard.
so basically, I'll throw that in very quickly. My mum, when I was a young boy, because I used to be very naughty, I used to go to my grandma, like, Grandma, I'm going to be naughty in a minute, because I can't say naughty. And because I used to get away with all the things, I used to go basically say that and then go smash something and break some shit. And because I used to get away with it all the time, she said I was a very slippery sausage. So even now, at 28 years old, she calls me slippery sausage. Or slippery, which is very inappropriate.
Which I think's hilarious.
Slippery sausage and Crayola Mike.
This is pea.
You should. I don't know. I've got a different order to you.
Oh, it's clapped.
Oh, this one's weird.
Now you think they're weird.
They're all, do you know what? They're all very similar.
That is horrendous.
They
Charles, I'm dead ass serious. Bumhole is substantially, significantly nicer.
The worst thing about that one is the other two. The initial taste was like okay, and the aftertaste was weird. That one, as soon as it hit my tongue, I was like, that should not be going in my mouth.
Honestly,
and you can clip that.
That should not be going in my mouth.
I've put so many things in my mouth that that's not going to be another one.
Come on.
That I couldn't swallow it
Okay, I've got
immediately.
my order here.
Okay, so take your turns.
Yeah.
Also nominate your favourite out of them as well.
Number two.
Number two.
Yeah.
Number two was the least awful.
Okay, so let's hear what you had then. Number one.
Okay, I went with oat.
I went potato.
Okay, number two.
I went with oat.
I went with pea.
And number three.
Potato.
I went with pea.
So I can tell you that the first one was the... Hang on, which one was the first one?
Brilliant.
The first one was the pea milk.
Oh,
That surprised me because
that does.
pea shit notoriously tastes really bad.
That
Then
wasn't. I didn't think the
number-
pea one was too bad.
No, it wasn't all. I wouldn't drink it.
Number
for fun.
two's definitely got to be oat then.
Number two was indeed oat milk.
Yeah. Okay. So
And it was easily the best tasting of the three. And the final one, therefore, is the what was it? Oh, the potato milk.
I'm gonna throw out now. Honestly, if you don't consume dairy for whatever reason, I respect it. Probably wise. But do not fuck with potato milk. That shit
No.
will send you to therapy.
yeah. But how much? Which was the most expensive one?
They're all pretty much the same price.
Oh, okay.
They're all about £2 a pop.
I wonder how many potatoes
Imagine
it takes.
as if we've just spent, or you've just spent money to put us through pain. Don't spend money to torture yourself. There are better means of doing
I'm
so.
spending money for the benefit of our listeners who would have enjoyed listening to you two. You didn't finish your milks, Harry. You've got 3 unfinished
Charles, I'm not
milks.
going to finish another man's milk that I don't enjoy. Do you know what I mean?
But they're all your own milk.
No, honestly,
This.
look. I'm not wasting.
This
I'm
has
not
gone
adding.
wrong.
I'm not adding to the already.
Why don't you
heightened
put
levels of
all
emotional
3
turmoil.
together and see if they form a super milk?
Charles, I put them all together.
Put them all in a glass and I'll drink it.
Charles, they put them all
there
in a
we
glass.
go.
They form.
Put them all in a glass and I'll drink it.
There we
Blue
go.
Eyes Ultimate
My
Dragon.
stomach is already turning. I might as well just hurry up the process.
Crayola Mike. Give them to Crayola Mike, please.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Mad Wax Mike.
There is a lot in there.
Haha. A good yield.
Plus, this is good yield. Let's give it a sniff.
There we go.
I'm getting the overwhelming smell of pea milk.
The triad.
That's the best one.
The milk triad there.
Don't drink it. Oh, you absolute fiend.
Oh, wow.
You religious?
No, but I probably
you need
should
Jesus.
be.
Yeah,
you're going to need Jesus soon.
I can actually just taste the oat more than anything.
They're all very similar, I think, to be honest. But the oat left a nicer taste and had a natural sweetness to it. But I think that's the barista element of it.
I'm still feeling like uncomfortable. I feel unhappy.
Well, there you go. What a great little featurette. I think you'll find.
Well, how much protein have I just consumed?
Very little. Very little, guys. So yeah.
Is it worth it? I guess if you can't handle dairy, fair enough.
Yeah, I am.
If you can't handle dairy, just drink water.
I think the younger generation generally are leaning away from dairy milks because they just think it's weird to drink from the teat of a cow.
I mean, it does kind of make sense.
It is a bit odd, actually, when you think about it, because it's one of those things that we've done for so long. It's been normalised.
Yeah. You think about it, like externally, it's like we're the only mammals that drink from the tit of another animal.
I don't know. I reckon if you offered it up, other animals would probably go for it.
Surely you've seen like other like animals sucking on a cow before.
Like if you got those out and you
what
get your
websites do you spend your time on?
You get your nipples out in the gym. I reckon if you got that out on a farm, you'd be surprised what would come trotting over.
I do not get my nipples out. I've done that twice. 3 times.
If there's anyone guilty of lactating in here, it's going to be you, Harry.
Definitely.
Yeah, I lactated once.
Yeah.
Ages ago when I was like 20.
Really funny story, actually.
Yeah, when I was 20, I had gyno. They thought I had breast cancer.
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. I went to the doctor. They were like, we're going to send you to get a biopsy because we think you might have breast cancer. I was like, oh shit, what fucking cause for concern that is. I also want to clarify that's probably the worst pain of my life.
Getting the scan. Yeah, no, I've heard.
I had the lump was like
nice.
50p, it was big, and it hurt to touch. As in, like, honestly, it made me want to cry. It hurt so much. And then they grabbed it. This is really going to hurt. They pierced my nipple, and then I was like, yeah.
They
went
lanced you.
Literally, and I was like, it was a thick needle.
Were you in Claire's accessories by any chance?
Yeah, I wish. And then I sat there, I was like, that was quite painful. Then they're like, that's not it.
We're not done.
Yeah, then they got to the lump, and they went through, and I literally my face was like, and they're like, it's worse for you because you're quite lean, so you don't have much like supportive fat tissue. I said, okay, or protective fat tissue.
Thanks.
I was like, thanks. So she's trying to talk to me. You're doing really well. I was like, Chamas, I swear, I'm about to throw hands with the wall right now.
Pass out.
Literally, they were going in and out like that. That looked inappropriate. And then I started bleeding. I bruised for days. It was the worst pain of my life. Turns out it was actually just hormone issues from being like.
So did you actually have gyno?
Late puberty?
Yeah, I had it for years.
Did they cut it out or did it just go away?
No, it went away after a while. I think it was because it was due to raised prolactin, which was due to I was taking like an IGF-1 supplement at the time, like BioGrow. I think that might have contributed to it, which then got banned. And then I think that contributed to it. Then
just like a whey protein supplement?
No, it was like a
no, it was a pill, wasn't it?
No, it was a powder. It tastes horrendous. The smallest bit, a gram of that powder. I can't even remember, but the gram of that
off the shelf stuff.
Yeah, but then it got banned.
USN style, like.
It got banned because it's like was a derivative of IGF-1, and they were like, ooh. And then I think that might have contributed. I don't know. And then, it turns out Lugano, I squeezed it really hard once, and a little bit of milk came out.
No.
Yeah, a little tiny bit.
Hang on a minute.
That's the sound of me sighing, everyone.
Yeah. Sorry.
So on the next episode, Harry will produce his own milk for the show.
When I only did that once, it really hurt, and the gyno's gone since. The gyno went away when I was like 21.
God. I mean, that's really
7 years ago.
Making it hard for me to think about the next topic of the show, which is all about kind of dieting.
Just want to clarify, it wasn't breast cancer.
Oh,
I just want to state, like, they thought it was, it wasn't.
And what a way to reveal that it would have been if that was the case.
Yeah, no, I had my Snapchat ready. I was about to tell everyone.
Live on the show, he's going to, tell us his story. Anyway, did you enjoy the milk segment?
I feel sick.
I will tell you in about 20 minutes.
Good. All right, well, I'll think of some other ones.
I can taste it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that takes us on to our final core of the show, which we were going to talk about kind of diets and some of the misconceptions that we wanted to discuss in dieting. And when we say dieting, we don't mean the kind of conventional D word of diets that you read about in the Daily Mail, where everyone's doing the 5-2 diet and the carnivore diet and what are the other ones? Anyone got any other ones?
Keto
diet,
Atkins,
Mediterranean diet.
Mediterranean diet's kind of just like lifestyle.
That's more of a lifestyle, like medical. It's often promoted by some medical professionals.
I think, you touched on it a little bit there with
Atkins.
I said that.
Oh, did you? I wasn't listening.
Obviously.
What are your overall thoughts on kind of fad diets?
Clapped.
Well, that's traditionally what people think of when they think of the word diet.
Yeah.
So, but we should, I think, clarify diet is what you consume, like food wise,
eating preferences,
adjusting your own personal diet.
So, for example, your diet could be better aligned with bulking. So cutting doesn't mean you are in a deficit. It means it's just what you're consuming for your goals.
So for the purpose of this conversation, when we say diet, we just mean what you eat in a day.
Rather than
fad diets, most of them focus on a deficit. That's my opinion.
Literally, and everyone's like, I lost loads of weight following keto because you're in a deficit. I lost loads of weight following this diet because you're in a deficit. Obviously, the go-to is you're in a deficit.
I think the first thing I want to say about those particular fad diets is I don't want to bash them, because essentially if they make losing weight easier for you, then it's not a bad thing. Because if a lot of those things are because many people aren't willing to track what they eat in a day. So therefore, if you can apply a simple set of rules that put you in a deficit and you can follow them, and even if they're ridiculous and it works for you, then fine. But it's how you then respond after you come off your diet. It's
exit strategy. It's
your exit. If it is so extreme that when you come to the end of it, you go back to what you originally perceived to be normal, then it hasn't really benefited you in the long run.
No. And I think with a diet, the way I look at it anyway, especially with clients, is you need to build some really good habits, because you need to eat for the rest of your life.
It's a lifestyle change, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you throw your whole lifestyle out the window to adopt this random lifestyle that you've read on a book or seen on Instagram, you're not going to adhere to it. He's just saying you're not going to be consistent with it. Therefore, it's not going to work. You're going to have to drop out of it at some point because this is dumb. I can't sustain this. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to take all those steps backwards, and it's going to get even harder for you the next time to do what you wanted to do.
That's why I think the idea a lot of people have, which is I'm going to follow this diet for 12 weeks to achieve this. It's like, well, rather than trying to follow a diet, why not just alter your lifestyle and just follow it forever, but in a manner that allows you to remain most consistent. So you can follow this for X amount of weeks, i.e. be in a deficit, then go to maintenance, then go to surplus. It doesn't have to be I'm just going to follow this fad diet for 12 weeks. But like what Chris said, if it helps you and it works for you, fine.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't always think they're necessarily necessary.
Yeah.
I think there may be better alternatives to consider, like we said, lifestyle change, but you do you.
I think it's taken away some of the magic from them and making sure you understand why they work, rather than being like, this diet is magic, this works for me. It's like, no, it's probably just built a system which you can adhere to, which probably relies on calorie deficit and probably reducing an eating window, maybe. But again, that's calorie restriction, isn't it?
I think diet culture in general is clapped and very potentially damaging.
Oh, definitely. Well,
that's another story.
I think how dieting can affect your emotional relationship with food is a definite subject that we can talk about.
It's a scary subject too.
But
then I found that through bodybuilding and having structure to diet made me appreciate food more. And therefore, when I did turn to bad foods, I was more selective. I wanted to make sure the calories were worth it. So now if I eat badly, I'm not kind of going to a McDonald's per se. I'm looking for the best burger.
Yeah, of course.
When we say
quality as well.
When we say like bad foods, it's more just foods that aren't necessarily very favorably macronutrient dense or micronutrient dense. The higher fat food, fast food.
I think essentially, another key takeaway is there is no such thing as a bad food. You shouldn't feel bad for eating certain foods, but there are foods that are obviously more optimal for your goals and your end result, and that's what it really boils down to. And
like some foods, you make a choice. I think that's the other thing to think about is like when you choose to eat something, like don't feel bad for eating it. Like you've made the choice to eat it, that's fine. That's okay. It might mean that you're a little bit further away from your goal, but it's just time you add on to the other end. Like don't feel bad for eating certain foods.
But essentially, I think one of the things, so through my career in bodybuilding, when I first started, obviously I knew nothing. So I had a coach who would give me a diet plan that I followed to the gram. And to the point where if I was out because I knew nothing, if I got something wrong, I felt bad about it, and that stressed me out.
Yeah.
But in other ways, it was good because I knew exactly what I was going to be eating that day, that week, and so on, and it gave me structure, which was quite useful. But then as I developed more on my knowledge of training and dieting, I realised that actually it was yes, there are optimal foods. But as long as I could nail the macros, the proteins, carbs and fats that I wanted to hit, I could do that with variation and still, the more you learn about food, the more you can enjoy a varied diet while still absolutely nailing those prerequisite macros. And that's a key takeaway for me, like that. Learn about food and start using an app to track, because suddenly you'll realize what foods are letting you down in your day that you can swap out for stuff that are quick fixes that will give you exactly what you need. You don't have to completely change your lifestyle and your diet in order to get your result. You just have to manipulate it and change your habits, as Harry says, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's just the first thing to prioritize is always just ensure you have a good relationship with food first. Because obviously if anything contributes to you having a negative or bad relationship with food, it's probably not worth pursuing. But like I said, I personally am like Chris, I'm an advocate of tracking macros and calories because I like to know what I'm consuming. And it's also really interesting. So I know if let's say if I'm in a surplus, I'm eating mass amounts of like a high volume, low calorie food. Kind of what Chris said, it's for my goals, it's kind of letting me down because it's now making it harder for me to eat to my calories and my macros because I'm so full. So it's like almost making those sacrifices of like, and they're just better food choices for your goals, we'll say. Yeah. But again, do you have to track? Absolutely not. I just track because I think I have it doesn't impact my relationship with food. I
think my experience is where I've gained a lot of knowledge of dieting, and I can look at a piece of food and tell you roughly what the macros are because I've tracked for so long. That in recent years, if I don't have to be absolutely on point, I can do it via instinctive eating, and I can pretty much nail my macros without even tracking. And that's just through a few years of tracking that I now learn. If you build up a structure of meals that you enjoy and you can rotate them, so you know that you've had that meal before, it fits in well with what you're looking for as a post-workout meal or a pre-workout meal, then slot it into your day, and then that way you can have some variation, but you're still not having to think too much as well.
I think going back to what you said about making sure you have a good relationship with food is so important, and I agree with that because I've had clients who don't want to track because it's quite triggering for them, and I think it's because they've probably felt like if I don't follow this diet that I've been given to the calorie, I'll fail, and that they feel really guilty if they go off plan a little bit. But I do say to them that it is sometimes quite good just to track every now and again, because even though your intuition will build, you sometimes can veer off course, and 1 degree off course for a long period of time, before you know it, you could be quite far away. So I think coming back to tracking as well, semi-regularly, just to check in and just make sure I'm a little high at the moment. I might just drop a little bit because I'm trying to lose some weight, or I need to go up a little bit because I'm not really building any muscle. I thought I was, but I'm actually really low on my protein, and now I've tracked again. I know that. A
good way of looking at it is a bit like, you manage your finances, you know what you can spend monetary wise in a week, let's say, or some people do. Why can't you apply a similar rationale to your diet? As in, you don't have to eat the same every day. You can have high days and low days depending on your week and so on. I think if you can track a bit, then you should see calories across a week a bit broader, as opposed to making sure every day is the same.
Yeah. I think you touched on it earlier about thinking of your calories as a week.
Yeah, weekly is more important than daily.
Yeah, like a weekly spend, and then that way you can then build in, because like we said about building systems that make it sustainable and consistent, because you have to live this way. Remember, you have to live your life. If you think about it as a week, then if you know there's something coming up in your week which probably is going to be a little bit more off plan than usual, you'd have to feel bad about that. You'd have to be the guy in the corner that's like, yep, brought my own food. Sorry, everyone.
I was that guy. Yeah. In the early days, I went to weddings with Tupperware and stuff like that. I turned down social events, and I kind of looking back.
I too have been that guy.
Looking back at that now, I kind of, part of me regrets it. Other parts of me just knew that I was really focused and dedicated. But I realise now that I can have a bad day on my diet, and it in the grand scheme of the week, it has very little impact whatsoever. So I can recover from that, and it really, I don't need to feel bad about it. I can just chalk it up and say, okay, I'm going to, maybe in my case, maybe I'll do a bit more cardio, or maybe I'll just have the following. Let's say I have a bad. Let's say generally on my Saturday, I go ham on food. So on the Sunday, pretty much I cut back my carbs right back just to offset some of that badness. There are ways and levers that you can factor in a bit of lifestyle and enjoyment into a diet.
It's never one size fits all. And the way I always kind of speak about it is, fitness is very much meant to enhance your life, not hinder it. If it is now taking you to the point where it's like negatively impacting your social health and that social life, which then in turn has a knock-on effect on your mental health because you are missing social events because you need to eat, which is what I used to do. If I love sushi, but back in the day when I was in a relationship many moons ago, I wouldn't go for sushi because I was eating so many calories. I knew that I could eat a lot of sushi and not really get a lot from it, and it just wasn't worth it. So I just sack off going to like meals with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that very much was hindering my life. So it's about finding balance.
Yeah.
But again, if you're like prepping for a show, then I'd probably say like you got to take the hit.
It's dedication. There's a time and a place for it. Just don't. If you're just a normal person looking to achieve a goal with your body, then just be aware that you can still achieve those results with some flexibility in there. Just switch up a little bit of that tracking and just be a little bit cleverer with your food and be a little bit more flexible. You can do it. You definitely can.
Make it as enjoyable and sustainable as possible.
Definitely.
Yes, 100%. And then you'll stick with it.
Yeah.
And it's those habits. The habits is such a great word to use, Harry, because
it is.
Because essentially just change your relationship with food through habits instead of seeing it as an 8-week period where you're going to eat clean, shall we say, and then after that 8 weeks you're going to go back to normal. You can't live like that.
I think our industry has a lot to say in terms of its influence it has on people as well, because I think where bodybuilders were definitely the first kind of niche in fitness that really focused on nutrition to that extent, that became like the main source of doing it. Because I remember when I went to a gym 10 years ago, like everyone that was dieting, it was chicken and like rice.
Yeah,
that was all they would eat.
The Hollywood diet.
Yeah, and like now that we obviously have different sports now in fitness that are playing a part in it, now things are a little broader. I think it's a lot better, but I still think I hear words of coaches using like the word clean, for example. Sometimes a bit like, I think we need to be careful, like you say, with how we label foods, because I think you said it just now about when you have a day that's a bit higher, like as long as you don't let the wheels fall off the wagon and then turn them into a week, like one day is really not going to make a difference at all, like at all.
Someone actually commented on a video ages ago. I think it was one of the videos I spoke about like the concept of cheating, like cheat days, etc.
So dumb.
And they commented saying, one day is bad because one day is never a day, it's always a week and a month, and one day is going to ruin your goals. I said that's a really unhealthy approach to this, and I was like, you bet you're one of the people who advocates like punishing yourself, for going off track.
Exercise as a punishment.
Yeah, like I ate a bit more, I'm going to punish myself.
Also, there's so much to unpack there. Like you have one bad day and you ruined your month.
Yeah, it's like you've now lost your family.
Yeah,
I mean you've ruined everything. Your wife has left
job.
Your children don't want to speak to you anymore because you had one bad day off your diet.
You're now homeless.
Literally, it's all gone down the pan.
But that's just that. I think that's a whole mentality thing, isn't it? It's like knowing what your goal is, understanding what your body can do, what one day can do to your body, even with training. Yeah. Like one day in a whole training program.
Your weight will probably go up after a bad day, but then once your digestive system has done its job and you've done a Harry and shat your brains out, then you probably will drop back down to pretty much near enough exactly where you were before.
You're not gaining fat in a day. Water retention, food that's just lingering.
If one day becomes 2 or 3, then yes, you probably will see negative effects of it. But let's say you're pretty damn consistent 95% or 90% or even 80% of the time. That 5, 10, 15% badness that you might have throughout the week or the month really is not going to impact you.
It might add a few days onto the end or a few weeks.
Yeah, but if it means that you have a life,
exactly.
And that's what I agree with. What's the rush? Why are you in a rush? Again, if you're trying to compete for a show, you have a deadline.
You have a time constraint.
But other than that, it's just like, why are you rushing? Do you know what I mean?
One of the questions I ask in my intake is like, do you want the result quickly or do you want the result forever? And then that's like a mentality thing. That. Because then it's like, then you get to go into the conversation of, okay, so this might take a little bit longer than you think it will, but you'll get there and you'll probably keep the result.
And you'll be happier doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. I like that.
That's
very good. No, I wouldn't steal it from you, but I appreciate it. That's very good.
Stolen it. I've seen you write it down.
It's a journey, guys. Just get on the journey.
Life's a marathon, not a sprint. Bang. Please tell me you've seen Sex Drive, the movie.
Yes, such a good movie. But that's actually good advice.
Yeah, Randy and Andy.
Yeah.
They're full of great advice.
Right, well, we could take this topic further and go into bulking, dirty bulking versus non, but I think maybe we'll save that.
I think that's a good chat for
another topic, and also we are running wild on this show today. We're going deep, so we're going to finish up with a bit of user-generated content. I think some of your Q&A, guys, because we have encouraged already on the show for you to contribute. So please do keep that dream alive for us. the guys that are staring deep into their DMs right now. We do have the form. I do have some stuff. I feel like I should reward the people that have contributed into the form, guys. So
we prefer the form if we can. I have one for you, Chris, actually. This is to do with your sticky rice and yogurt combo thing.
Nice.
The person has asked, do you use boxed eggs, whites or fresh ones?
So for me, if it's egg whites, then I get the 2 chicks cartons of egg whites, which are down the butter aisle normally. So 2 chicks or Burford do it now, and Happy Egg Co., all 3 companies that do liquid egg whites. I don't like that kind of. You can buy weird long life egg whites from some companies, but I much prefer to get fresh egg whites. But if I'm desperately reaching for, if I've run out of those, then I will just separate a box of cheap eggs and do it that way. But I'll essentially, what I'll do is I'll fry the eggs in a pan into like an egg white omelette, and then I will tip that into the rice with the yogurt and the sweetener and mash it all together.
Oh,
it's good stuff, man.
I do need to try it. I will try it.
It's a great pre or post, depending if you want to add nut butter to it as well. Okay,
Harry,
I don't like nut butter.
That's a lie.
I'm trying to look for some funny stuff right now.
Right, okay, what have I got here? Queer and a... Oh, yeah, here's an interesting question, which is kind of hard for us to answer, I feel. We'll get a quick answer from you guys. Should people train for self-defense? How well does strength training carry on to benefit fighting? I mean, we did talk about fighting in the last show, but strictly animals.
Yeah, I was going to realistically... Obviously, there are many variables considered, technique, etc. But if you have all variables are the same, but the only difference is strength, the stronger person will likely do better.
There you go.
But
then you could train a bit like Anthony Joshua, let's say, does kind of powerful movements, explosive landmines, presses and things like that for boxers.
Well, it's like, how do you define strength?
I mean, that's a big subject to which we're not here for right now. Another Q&A.
Your body's ability to exert force.
Always good. I'm like a naughty man.
I'm doing a course at the moment.
Another quick question for you. Good YouTube series, podcast, or reading material about the biomechanics of resistance training. Go.
Renaissance periodization.
Correct. That was one. I love those guys. Mike Patel is an absolute legend. Actually, the course I'm doing at the moment, these guys, RX Radio, they're quite good. Jordan Shallow, Jordan Genter.
I know those names.
Yeah, they do. They're both chiropractors, and Jordan was more powerlifting, and the other Jordan is like weightlifting. So they're very knowledgeable guys, and they've actually really got good banter on their podcast as well. They dive
as good as ours?
No, impossible.
No, God, no. We're like 6 in now.
Do they talk about pooing? No, they don't.
No, they do have some funny fucking gym stories, though.
Nah, but is it about poo? No, it's not.
No, probably not.
There you go. You got 2 right there.
Okay, guys, have you got any you'd like to throw into the mix?
I've got one.
Go.
Biggest regrets regarding training?
Well, injuring myself, usually. We've always said injuries.
Yeah. I would say program hopping. I did a lot of that.
And giving up too quickly.
Yeah. Program hopping was one of my regrets. Go on.
Train like a cock and hurting myself and feeling like I've wasted a lot of years doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And obviously breaking my back.
And having an injury. But mine was...
I think chasing numbers maybe, but a lot of people do that.
There's something quite honourable in that, I think, though. Chasing a number. Maybe not to the detriment of your body.
I like numbers to some extent. We're going like power, like almost like squat, bench and deadlift weight numbers.
A powerlifter has to chase numbers by their very definition, but me as a bodybuilder, I don't need to chase numbers.
No.
The thing, well, arguably to some extent you kind of do. If you want to progressively overload, then you want to chase the numbers of doing extra rep,
But if he didn't progressively overload to a certain point, but he looked amazing, because it's very subjective,
I think the reason,
isn't it?
the thing I like about numbers is that they aren't subjective.
And they're
did you lift more or did you not?
Yeah, but
yes or no?
when I say chasing numbers, I mean like I would desperately wanted to bench X amount to the detriment of my rotator cuffs.
Oh, but then it's not relevant to your sport.
But that's what I mean, yeah. So that's where chasing numbers let me down.
Sport-specific training.
Yeah.
Yes.
You kind of, yeah.
Okay, next question, anyone?
I was going to ask a question about mountains, but I feel like it's a long story that... It's not really a long story, it's a story we could get into.
Go on.
About something, would you guys ever climb mountains?
I would. I mean, I went to the Brecon Beacons at the weekend.
I mean, last time I climbed a mountain, I did Snowdon, and I'm going to be honest, I fucked it really badly. Because here's the thing. If you ever go anywhere with me, I don't like doing the norm. It's boring. There's like, follow the path. Shut up. No, I'm not. I see path or I see these rocks in a fucking...
You should always...
Nah, I don't do that shit. My friend is just coming off... This makes it sound really bad. My friend was just getting over 3 years of chronic fatigue syndrome, following on from having really bad glandular fever. He said, "This is it. Let's go climb a mountain together." Because I promised him, when you get better, we're going to climb a mountain together.
Okay, that's
so he
nice.
did it because obviously we went there.
It's a big moment.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Do you mean it's an emotional time? He's my oldest friend. He was nearly bedbound for 3 or 4 or 3 years.
Good metaphor for overcoming. Yeah.
And this was, when was this? This was summer 2020, I want to say. So after the first lockdown.
I was going to say.
And so we climbed the mountain, and the path was not a path, we'll say. There were many steep rocks. We were literally hugging the rocks to try and crawl up them. That was all good. Anyway, it took us a lot longer to get up there, and then we realised we had to come back down. And at this point, it was now dark. It was, and we had a very, very weak head torch. It was not good. So we were climbing down. And we were like, this is not juicy. He's sweating. He's saying, "Harry, I'm never doing this with you again." I'm like, "But we're having fun. Okay, can we clarify we're having?" I'm not having fun. He was panicking. We thought we were going to have to sleep on the mountain and call the rangers. I said, "Shut up, grow up." No, we're not. I said, "We don't give up." So I power through.
Never surrender.
So I'm slipping down these fucking rocks and stuff. It was dodgy. And anyway, we get to the end. I slip, and there's just a sheer drop.
No.
And I was like, literally like there. He's like there holding on to me, and I was like,
he could have literally.
I was like, this could be the end. And I was like, I turned around, I was like, well, we don't go that way. That's not a good time. We got down eventually. It only took us many hours, and we eventually got back at 1 a.m. Back to the place next to the mountain. There's a lot more to the story, but I'm trying to avoid the bit where we did very much nearly die, and he very much nearly, wanted to die. It was a really bad time. I had a great time. I thought it was fantastic. I said, "What a memory! You're gonna remember that forever." He said,
They say there's like 3 different kinds of fun. One which is fun where you're enjoying the process of doing it. Another is fun where it's hard at the time, but you finish up and you're like, "Yeah, that was pretty fun." And then the third kind of fun, it just isn't fun.
I love excitement. I love the concept. I love the fear of this could be it. Do you know what I mean? I love the fear of almost like
the storm chaser is back.
We could die here. I like that excitement.
Go down to the coast this weekend and just see.
Tell you what, go to the Brecon Beacons or Snowdon if you want tomorrow, because when I did it at the weekend, there was like not a lot of wind in normal back here, but there was 50-mile-an-hour winds whilst I was at the top there. I could lean at 45 degrees. It was insane.
I'm getting one of those suits that
wingsuits.
Yeah, the wingsuits. I'm going to jump at the top and see where it takes me.
Wingsuit.
No parachute.
Probably straight back into the side of the mountain.
No parachute. I'll fly.
Those guys, a lot of people have died doing that.
My dad's a skydiver.
Yeah, skydiving and wingsuits different.
Yeah,
one's got
base jumping things.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, he doesn't do that. But I'm saying that would be cool.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Have you ever seen that adrenaline dude on YouTube who does base jumping? Insane.
It's pretty nuts base jumping. You're essentially jumping off a building which isn't that far off the ground, and then releasing your parachute at the very last minute.
10 episode special. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna base jump for our 10th episode.
Any more questions, please? Anyone got anything good? Any juicy ones?
No.
Okay, fine. We'll pull one up from the... Oh, someone said, does it hurt to be so awesome?
It's funny you should ask me that. I think that was directed. I know you looked at me when you said that. And honestly, it really does.
The milk is kicking in.
It really does. Are you feeling a bit fruity?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm all right now. I'm fine.
Tasha asked why Harry is such a bitch.
Oh, that's a whole episode.
That's not
itself.
a very nice way to speak about your mother.
Okay, fine.
That's a whole episode.
Okay,
that's very rude.
Here's a good one. This is from Emmy, who said, a friend of mine claims that flexing between sets increases muscle growth. Is that true? I remain skeptical. Would like to hear your thoughts.
How heavy is your friend? Because what I would do personally is I would maybe get a couple of people, pick them up, put them in the bin, leave them there. That's what you need to do.
So no flexing between sets, guys, especially in front of the mirror.
Don't do that, please.
I reckon there's probably some science you could scrape together, but I don't think it's worth it.
It's going to be
all.
the evidence and research could be so weak. If it was really that beneficial, we'd all be doing it. Bodybuilders would do it.
But the only thing I'm thinking of is, because I've never done bodybuilding, but I know.
Don't do it.
No, I've known from people who have that, like, obviously practicing all the routines and stuff really wipes you out.
It is bare hard. Yeah,
so posing where I've done competitions, I haven't trained the day of the competition, but then the following day, my DOMs from posing on stage are horrendous, because you are flexing and holding a pose for like quite a long time. Minutes.
And it's hard.
So I guess the answer to that question is, how is your friend posing? How long are they posing for? Are they literally just in between sets going, I'm looking quite big at the moment?
No, just holding a flex in between the set.
The boy's got a bit of a bicep pump, and he
You know-
said, "Well, hang about.
You
This
know when
mirror's
you-
looking pretty naughty."
You're training with someone and they're not really listening to what you're saying because they have just caught themselves in the mirror and just gone, hang on a minute.
Oh, am I squatting properly? Do you think my triceps are big at this angle?
It's like, can you
squatting
spot
properly?
me?
Yeah.
Can you spot me? It's hang on a minute.
Watch themselves in the mirror as they're spotty, saying, "Bloody hell, I look juice."
God, I actually look really big, don't I?
But I know you're squatty at the moment. Can you just stop, take a picture quickly?
Yeah.
Show my mum.
I've been
I'm big.
sat in the bottom of this squat for 10 seconds now. If you wouldn't mind just getting this bar off me.
The interesting thing about actual bodybuilders is, for some reason, they have a license to drop their trousers at any point and get someone to take a photo.
It's actually
oh
facts.
my God.
Yeah,
Don't even.
I know who you're thinking about right
Yes,
now. Yeah,
I've seen that far too many times
I still
in my
do.
time.
I still.
It's like,
do.
let me just take my trousers down. Quick, take a photo.
What is it? Hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. Hang on a second. Trousers down.
It's
take a picture.
quickly followed by like just looking through their phone, they're flicking through their pictures, and it's like then I'm seeing why you are not wearing many clothes.
Do you think at like family occasions and weddings and stuff, when the wedding photographer comes out, say, hang on 1 second, I'm just gonna take my trousers off?
See, you went to wedding. I went to funeral. So just imagine at the funeral, say like,
Can I stand on the other side, please? Because this is my biggest side.
Just imagine, say like, we want to reminisce on the memories today. Take a picture quickly. If I just put my trousers down. Do I look? What about my back?
Can we all take our jackets off? Because I feel
It's
like
fine. I've got a license for this. I'm a bodybuilder.
Can we adjust the lighting, please? Does this coffin need to be here?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be here. Can we just move it for 5 minutes? Oh, thanks. We appreciate that.
The lighting is great.
To be fair, Harry's general leg wear is tight enough that he doesn't need to take them off.
Today.
In order to see. Oh yeah, Harry's wearing joggers.
Stand up for the listeners, Harry.
Yeah, you're wearing actual sweatpants.
I could get in those with you. And that's saying something.
I know it's weird, but
Ireland.
to see you in baggy trousers is
Great tune.
great song, is really kind of off-putting for me. It's disconcerting to not be able to see the outline of your junk.
You wait until I wear my
And
mankini.
quads.
Mankini. Well, that's show 10. So
I do have, and I have a thong as well.
That will be the cover art.
50p from Primark because they had a pube in
Oh,
it.
I need to think about the cover art.
I'm not joking.
No, it did not.
It had a pube in it. I'll never forget that.
It did not.
I remember once.
What colour is it?
It's
What colour was it?
it's predominantly purple with yellow, blue, and other like sparkly things.
Brown?
On it. No, I don't wear it often. I wore it once to sunbathe in the garden when I was like 20, and then someone knocked on the door, and I lathered myself up in baby oil because I was wanting to be bodybuilder this time, so I thought it was going to help me tan. Someone knocked on the door. I thought it was my friend George. So I answered the door. It wasn't George. It was a Sky TV man come to fix the skybox. And I'm just there in a thong with my ball sack hanging out because it could only fit one.
Do you want to come in? He's like,
I literally looked at him. I looked at him. I was like, can I just have a minute? And I grab a towel and put it around. I was like, oh, this is so embarrassing. That's pretty much it.
Good. Great anecdote to finish the show on, I feel. It's been a great episode. Thank you, as always, guys. I think everyone's...
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your contributions. As reminded, please follow us at Pump Fiction Pod on Instagram. Please click the link and submit your questions, your confessions, if you have any mysterious confessions. Please submit any topics you want us to talk about. And if you just have any general thoughts and feedback, really, just send it our way.
But if it's negative, we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, we don't want to hear the negative stuff. We don't want to have to...
Even if it's true.
Yeah. Especially if it's true.
Yes. So, yes, guys, anything else to add before I, end this?
Mike looks unwell.
Yeah, Mike, are you all right? Are you suffering from... You've got milk fatigue?
Something's going on. No, I think it's just the combo.
Because
it's probably the 3D that
you're drinking a pre-workout, you're drinking a protein shake, and you've just had a whole crazy milk scenario.
That noise you can hear right now, that's how I feel.
That is Mike's stomach.
That gurgling sound is not the AC. It is, in fact, Mike's stomach, ladies and gentlemen.
It's fine.
And that just about rounds up. Maybe I'll just give you a little bit more. Thanks for listening, guys. This has been Guess That Milk. I've been Christy Fellows. He's been Harry _TFNL. And Mike's new name isn't... What's Mike's name now?
Radical.Mike.
Because he's radical, dude.
Totally radical. Anyway, thanks for listening to the post now. The Pump Fiction Pod.
Got to plug the other podcast real quick.
Got to plug both my podcasts. Please listen, contribute, and thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time. Good night, everyone.
This is why BBC didn't reply.